Chapter 1325. Huamin had a strong feeling that this person was her loved one. They were going to meet sooner or later, right? At this thought, Huamin was unusually excited. She repeatedly stroked the white jade gourd and didn't want to let go. In the end, she hung it around her neck. The gourd had the effect of attracting wealth and warding off evil spirits. High-quality jade also had the ability to protect its owner. It was said that if one wore it for a long time, it could connect with their owner's heart. Huamin decided that from this moment on, she was going to wear it until she met that person. "Honey? It's still dark. Why don't you sleep a little longer?" Qin Chu woke up groggily. He reached out and hugged Huamin. She didn't expect Mr. Qin to be so grumpy when he woke up. What a surprise. "I can't sleep. Are you still thinking about the gourd?" Qin Chu leaned forward and kissed Huamin's cheek. "Honey, who do you think gave it to me? Isn't it too expensive? They bought a pair for 720 million yuan, and now they're giving me one of them? I suddenly have 360 million yuan. That's scary. Winning the lottery is nothing compared to you. Honey, you're the one who suddenly became rich," Qin Chu joked. Huamin smiled and rested her head on Qin Chu's chest. Ever since she received this gift, Huamin was in a good mood. It wasn't because of the money, but because this person might be related to her by blood. Huamin imagined countless times that her fated relative, sister, or brother. Later, when she actually met that weird girl, Huamin realized that her genius was so weak. Compared to her, she was nothing. She was the one with the genetic mutation, okay? Huamin hugged Qin Chu coquettishly and didn't get up until 7 a.m. After a simple breakfast, the two of them drove to work. On the 4th day of the first lunar month, there were very few people at Southside. There were few patients and few doctors, and many of them were still on vacation. Huamin went into his office and organized the information for an hour. He looked at the registration records on the computer. There wasn't even a single neurologist. How idle. At this moment, the assistant knocked on the door and walked in. "Director, someone is looking for you." "Let her in." Huamin nodded. Then, Xiawan walked in with a cardboard box. She was dressed much better than usual. Her clothes looked like they had just been bought. "Big Sister Xia, why are you here?" Huamin quickly got up and poured a cup of hot water for Xiawan. "Dr. Hua, these are the pork sausages I bought in the countryside. They're clean and delicious. I made a box for you." "Big Sister Xia, you're too polite. I can't finish so many. I'll just try 1 or 2 of them. They're easy to store. If you can't finish them, you can put them in the fridge. They're really delicious. Shuai Shuai and I both love them. I made a box for Ni Yang too. He likes them very much." Xiawan seemed to be in a good mood. "Thank you." Huamin carefully took the box and placed it on the floor of the office. Huamin had always thought that the woman who abandoned Ni Yang was a cruel and merciless woman. When he first met Xiawan, he also thought that she wasn't easy to get along with. It wasn't until later that Huamian understood her pain and difficulties that she helped her. Only then did he realize that Xiawan was actually a good person. It was just that her fate was a bit too complicated. Xiawan had always remembered Huamin's kindness and used her own methods to repay him. Previously, she personally bought wool to knit a hat and scarf for Huamin. Sometimes, she even gave Huamin some eggs and local specialties. Now, she even gave him the sausages she made. Although they weren't expensive, the thought was important. "Big Sister Xia, how's your relationship with Ni Yang now?" Huamin had been busy lately. Plus, it was the end of the year and Ni Yang had to travel all over the country to attend various TV parties. In the blink of an eye, they hadn't seen each other for more than 20 days. His phone was also under the care of his agent, Sister Ingzi, so Huamin didn't have time to ask Ni Yang. Now that Xiawan reminded her, she finally remembered to ask. Chapter 1326. Xiawan smiled. "It's good, I'm already very satisfied." He didn't come back because he was streaming the Spring Festival Gala on New Year's Eve, but he did call me to tell me that he was safe. Shuai Shuai and I saw him sing on TV. Shuai Shuai was so happy when he found out that he was his older brother. He kept saying that he wanted to show off at school. Huamin could tell that Xiawan was very content and happy. That's good, and Yang is actually very soft-hearted, he's just stubborn. He'll always remember how good you are to him, Huamin added. Xie nodded. Yeah, he's flying back to the city tomorrow night. He'll come to my place for dinner with me and shui. Dr. Hua, do you want to come too? I'll pass. I just came back from vacation and I have a lot of work to do. You guys have a good family reunion. Feel free to call me if you need anything. Okay, Dr. Hua, I won't bother you anymore. After Xie left, Huamin was actually quite happy. In her opinion, the reconciliation between Yang and his mother was something to be happy about. Yang wouldn't be alone anymore, he wouldn't be a pitiful person who didn't even have someone to share his honor with. Just then, her phone beeped with a notification. Huamin opened her phone and saw that Zhu Lingling was showing off in her best friend's WeChat group. Zhu Lingling, halala, Happy New Year to the two beauties. What are you guys doing? Huamin, I'm on duty at Southside. It's my first day at work. Jiang Xiaowei, I'm having dinner at my mother's place. Zhu Lingling, guess what I'm doing? Huamin, exercising with the police? Jiang Xiaowei, with Captain Gao. Zhu Lingling, fuck, you guys are so impure. Can't you guys have a nice chat? Let me tell you guys, I'm sunbathing in Bali right now. Are you jealous? After that, Zhu Lingling sent a picture. In the picture, she was wearing a hot bikini and resting on a beach bench with a glass of juice in her hand. Zhu Lingling was beautiful and had a great figure. After photoshopping, she was indeed pretty, and she didn't lose out to female celebrities. Huamin, why didn't you say anything? Did you go to Indonesia? This is all? Jiang Xiaowei, why didn't you go to the Maldives? Is Bali interesting? Zhu Lingling, interesting. Why else would this be a popular destination for celebrities to get married? It's not easy for my police officers to get annual leave, and I got it for them. At the end of the year, our airline company will give out benefits, and our round-trip tickets are free. Isn't that great? Hua Jiang Xiaowei, not bad. I want to go out and play too. I really want to go to Barcelona. Unfortunately, I've become a panda and I'm heavily protected. I can't go anywhere. Even if I go fishing at a resort in the suburbs, I have to be followed by bodyguards and nannies. It's so annoying. Zhu Lingling, Mian, are you coming? Why don't you and Mr. Qin come too? We'll go back together after a few days. Huamin, I'm not going. I'm already at work. If I continue to take time off, I'll be letting down the 8,888 yuan that our President Wu gave me. Zhu Lingling, old Wu is quite nice to you. Jiang Xiaowei, that's because my Mian made him proud. Those two awards are very valuable. She's the first person in the South District to win these awards. Huamin, all right, you two can stop flattering me. You guys talk, I'll get back to work. Huamin didn't really want to chat during work hours. After all, she was a doctor and couldn't neglect her duties. So, after a few words, she switched to Do Not Disturb mode and put down her phone. Just then, her phone rang again. She picked it up and saw that it was an unfamiliar number. Huamin hesitated for a few seconds before picking it up. Huamin, Happy New Year. Chapter 1327. Xiaoxue? Huamin recognized Wu Xiaoxue's voice. Xiaoxue, you're back in China? Why didn't President Wu tell me? Huamin was pleasantly surprised. No, I'm still in Chicago. Then, how are you doing? How's the baby? I'm fine, and Xinyue's been a good girl. Wu Xiaoxue seemed to have matured a lot after the divorce. That's good. I miss you, so I called to ask if you have a baby yet. Not yet. Huamin smiled awkwardly. It's okay, you can't rush this. It's not urgent anyway, just let nature take its course and keep a good mood, and I will. Are you in contact with Ning Ziyuan? Wu Xiaoxue asked hesitantly. No, why? Nothing. I heard from my uncle that a while ago, he went to my uncle in private and kowtowed to him. He wants to come back to work at the hospital. He doesn't seem to be doing well outside. What did President Wu say? My uncle said, it's not that he doesn't want to give him a chance, but his skills are limited. As an ophthalmologist, he can't even write an academic article about ophthalmology. The first hospital won't accept someone like him. Oh. Huamin nodded. She hadn't seen Ning Ziyuan in a long time and almost forgot about his existence. They hadn't seen each other since their argument last time. Xiaoxue, do you still hate him? To be honest, I don't hate him anymore. When I look at Xinyue's eyes, I think she's quite pitiful without a father. Actually, I called to ask if you could talk to Ning Ziyuan and ask him if he's willing to come to Chicago. Xiaoxue. Huamin wanted to say something but stopped. I know what you mean, he's not trustworthy, but I still want to give him a chance. Not to be my husband, but to be Xinyue's father. I understand. Don't worry, I won't persuade you to give up. We're both outsiders, you're the one involved. I'll always respect your decision. Thank you, Mian. After hanging up the phone with Wu Xiaoxue, Huamin was actually quite happy. Ning Ziyuan might have done a lot of bad things in the past, but he was still Xinyue's father. If Xiaoxue was willing to give him a chance, then as a passerby, she had no right to ask. She secretly noted this down and decided that if she had the chance to see him, she would ask for his opinion. As there were not many patients in the afternoon, the headquarters sent a mass message to inform the doctors on duty that they could leave work an hour earlier. Huamian drove straight to GK headquarters. To their surprise, they ran into Mo Shui at the entrance. She was wearing a bright red fur coat and heavy makeup, looking extremely flirtatious. Huamin didn't understand why Hua Xiqian, who was obsessed with looks, didn't love Mo Shui. She was already a rare beauty with a strong aura. Huamin was just about to say something when she saw Mo Shui walking towards her. However, Mo Shui walked right past her, completely ignoring Huamin's existence. Huamian's expression immediately turned awkward. She didn't know why Mo Shui suddenly acted like this. She turned around and saw Mo Shui walk towards a black Range Rover on the side of the road. The person driving the car was Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi saw Huamin looking over and waved at her. Huamin's face was expressionless as she turned around and walked into GK. After Mo Shui got into the car, Jiang Yi smiled and asked, "You're so cold today. How could you ignore a young lady?" "She's not my friend, why should I talk to her?" Mo Shui sneered. Stop looking for excuses. It's because of Hua Xiqian, right? Jiang Yi smiled. Chapter 1328. You're so annoying. Hurry up and drive. Stop talking nonsense. Mo Shui didn't seem to want to mention Hua Xiqian's name, so her face darkened. Jiang Yi knew what she was thinking, so he drove Mo Shui away. Huamin went straight to the president's office, where Qin Chu was assigning tasks to a few executives. When Huamin walked in, he sat in the corner of the sofa, not daring to disturb them. "A young lady, here's your milk." Assistant Yang walked in with a cup of warm milk. Ever since Huamin told him to prepare for pregnancy, Assistant Yang had been obedient and changed his coffee and tea to warm milk. Huamin never got pregnant, so the more he drank, the more awkward he felt. "Okay, that's all for today. I want to see results at the beginning of next month." "Yes, President Qin. You guys can leave now." Upon hearing Qin Chu's order, the executives turned around and left. "Good afternoon, a young lady." "Good afternoon, a young lady." The executives didn't forget to greet the lady boss when they saw her. Huamin smiled and nodded at her. After everyone left, she stood up and walked over. Then, she intimately sat on Qin Chu's lap and wrapped her arms around his neck. "You're so busy every day, isn't it boring?" "It is." Qin Chu nodded. "Then, how about you go to South Side and be a doctor for a few days, and I'll be the president for a few days?" Huamin joked. "That's a good idea." Qin Chu continued to nod. "Forget it. Being a doctor is actually very simple. All you have to do is treat patients. Yours is too complicated, it's giving me a headache." Because GK was involved in too many industries, as the president, Qin Chu was often overwhelmed with work. "What's this?" Huamin looked down and saw a gift box on his desk. "I don't know. Assistant Yang just brought it in and said it was for me. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet." Qin Chu didn't seem to care about these things. "You have deliveries too? Let's take a look." Is it also a priceless treasure? With that, Huamin took the initiative to open the box. Inside was a Versace men's shirt. It was black with diamonds on the cuffs. It was very luxurious. Qin Chu had this shirt. Huamin remembered that when he bought it, the price tag was more than 80,000 yuan. Who is so generous to give you such expensive clothes? Who knows? Qin Chu's expression was indifferent. Huamin picked up the clothes. There was a pink card at the bottom. President Qin, Happy New Year. Good luck at work. There were only 2 words signed off, Linyu. Huamin was suddenly enlightened. Jiang Linyue? This woman still hasn't given up? She was even more determined than Song Yisher. Huamin was impressed by her. After seeing the card, Qin Chu quickly took the clothes from Huamin and threw them into the trash can. Why did you throw them away? What else? Do I have to wear them? Mr. Qin said proudly. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. You can give them to Assistant Yang. Would he dare to wear them? His wife will make him kneel on a durian when he gets home. As soon as Qin Chu said this, Assistant Yang came in to deliver some documents. Upon hearing this, he immediately corrected Qin Chu. You're wrong, sir. My wife wouldn't buy something so expensive for me to kneel on. I have 2 pots of cactus at home. Qin Chu. Huamin. Haha. Huamin didn't expect Jiang Linyue to give Qin Chu clothes, but it didn't affect his mood. After all, she was just a small fry who didn't even know how long she had to wait in line. It wasn't worth mentioning. What are we eating after work? Huamin asked coquettishly. Huamin, speak properly, Huamin protested. You asked me, so of course I'll tell you what I like, Qin Chu said innocently. Honey, Uncle Li and the others aren't back yet. It's too troublesome to cook by ourselves. Let's go eat Japanese food. Sure. Huamin waited at the company until 5:30 p.m. before Qin Chu got off work. The 2 of them drove to a famous Japanese restaurant. When the car stopped, Huamin was slightly surprised to see a woman walk out. Why is she here? Huamin muttered to himself. Chapter 1329. Qin Chu looked in Huamin's direction and was very calm when he saw who it was. Yang Xiaoping was just a passerby in Qin Chu's eyes. Yang Xiaoping showed up at a famous Japanese restaurant on the 4th day of the 1st lunar month? Wasn't that strange? The food here wasn't cheap, and a meal here cost at least 1,000 yuan. Didn't Yang Xiaoping say that she was going home for Chinese New Year? Why was she back so soon? She was dressed nicely and didn't look like a village girl at all. However, it was still a funny combination in the middle of winter. She was wearing shiny black leather pants, short black leather boots, and a black fur coat. Yang Xiaoping's figure wasn't very good either. She had a classic pear-shaped body. Therefore, from afar, she looked like a black bear. She walked out on her own, hailed a taxi, and left. When Huamin and Qin Chu got out of the car and walked inside, Huamin saw a second familiar face. Song Yisher. She was obviously surprised to see Huamin as well, and she lowered her head and left in a hurry. Whenever Huamin appeared, the Song sisters had to avoid him. That was their bet. Song Yishuan? Yang Xiaoping? 2 seemingly unrelated people appeared in a Japanese restaurant one after the other? This made Huamin suspicious, however. She didn't say anything else about them. Instead, she went in with Qin Chu to eat quietly. The chef who served the food was a Japanese, because Qin Chu and Huamin were both VIP members here. Therefore, he personally brought the sashimi platter to them and complimented them in broken Chinese. Your girlfriend is very pretty. No, she's my wife. Qin Chu was extremely arrogant. Huamin secretly pinched him. Why are you being so serious with a Japanese guy? I don't care which country he's from, I can't make a mistake. There's a big difference between a girlfriend and a wife. Qin Chu continued to argue. Huamin, on the other hand, was very happy. In her opinion, Huamin was an easily satisfied person. It was the happiest thing in the world to be able to eat your favorite food with the person you liked. When the 2 of them were halfway through their meal, they did not expect that Su Yu and the others would also come here. This time, Su Yu didn't come with his buddies like Wei Liao and Tang Chuan. Instead, he came with several famous artists under Imperial Star. Imperial Star was once ridiculed by outsiders as there were too few male artists and too many female artists. However, it was an undeniable fact that Su Yu's management style was very good and very modern. Therefore, Imperial Star always had a good reputation in the domestic entertainment industry. Many students who graduated from film schools wanted to join the company. Su Yu only brought Jian Tong, Jiang Yi, and 2 other female celebrities with him today. As the boss of Imperial Star, it was normal for him to treat his artists to a meal. Jian Tong liked Japanese food, so they came. However, they didn't expect to run into Su Yu and Huamin here. Jian Tong regretted coming as soon as she walked in. She knew that as long as Huamin was around, President Su's gaze would always wander. President Su, how about we go somewhere else? President Su, I don't want to eat Japanese food anymore. Jian Tong reacted quickly. She didn't want to stay in a place where Huamin was around for too long. It would be awkward for everyone. Especially President Su. Su Yu didn't say anything, however. Jiang Yi spoke up first. I don't think we should go somewhere else. This place is good. Don't go back and forth, you're starving. This place is good. You guys sit first, I'll go say hi. Chapter 1330. Su Yu was very generous and walked over to Qin Chu. Happy New Year, President Qin. Happy New Year, President Su. Qin Chu responded in a gentlemanly manner. Su Yu looked down at Huamin, who was eating salmon. Don't put too much mustard on it, it's very spicy. Then, Su Yu left. Huamin's hand trembled upon hearing Qin Chu's words. He had put too much mustard on it. When he put it in his mouth, he felt like tears were coming out of his eyes. Look at you, you're acting like a child. Qin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He immediately picked up a glass of water and handed it to Huamin. Huamin took a big gulp. Maybe because he used too much strength, the water came out of his mouth. Qin Chu wiped his mouth with a tissue as if he was taking care of a child. His gaze was as gentle as it could get. A female artist from Imperial Star said enviously, President Qin is so good to Mrs. Qin, I'm so jealous. Yeah, I heard that they've been together for many years. I have a friend who works at GK, and he said that President Qin is obsessed with his wife. Other than his wife, he doesn't care about anything else. He's such a good man, why don't we have that kind of luck? You guys aren't as smart as President Qin's wife. Jiang Yi teased. Jian Tong interrupted unhappily, let's eat, everyone. After dinner, when Qin Chu was about to pay the bill, he was told that Su Yu had already paid. Qin Chu didn't say anything as he held Huamin's hand and left. Su Yu, on the other hand, wasn't in the mood to continue eating. Every time he saw Huamin, he was overjoyed. However, as soon as Huamin left, he felt like he had lost his soul. President Su, I'd like to propose a toast to you. Thank you for supporting me this year, and allowing me, a newcomer, to make a name for myself. A female artist raised her glass with a smile. Su Yu picked up his glass and slowly took a sip. After dinner, someone suggested that they go to Seductive Fox. Su Yu didn't refuse and brought the artist to Seductive Fox to book a private room. While they were playing, the door to the private room was suddenly pushed open. Huaxiqian walked in, wearing a dark purple jacket, looking very elegant. Unlike Su Yu and Qin Chu loved black and always wore black, whether it was his shirt or his suit. On the other hand, Su Yu loved the color white. It was eternal white. He would only be satisfied if he wore white underwear. Huaxiqian preferred colors. Most of his jackets were orange, sky blue, coffee, and even pink. However, it was precisely because of its versatility that it appeared to be extraordinarily fashionable. Lord Su, shall we have a chat? Take a seat. Su Yu was not in a good mood, so he said without raising his head or opening his eyes. Huaxiqian didn't mind and sat down next to Su Yu. A considerate female artist poured Huaxiqian a glass of wine. Thank you, beautiful President Hua, you're welcome. The female artist smiled shyly. Aren't you the female lead of that spy movie that's on TV? Let me think, what's your name again? Zhang Wenna, right? President Hua, you know me? The female artist seemed surprised. Su Yu glanced at Huaxiqian faintly and asked, so, You came to talk to me because you want to hit on one of my female artists? His words immediately made the female artist feel awkward. She immediately stood up and left, afraid that President Su would get angry. Wuxia, on the other hand, smiled nonchalantly and said, "Of course not. She's an artist under you, so you'd better keep her for yourself. I'm here today because I have something important to tell you." "What is it?" Su Yu hated beating around the bush, so he got straight to the point. Chapter 1331. Lord Su, are you interested in working with me? Work with you? Do you want to enter the film and television industry? No, on the contrary. I want you to enter the real estate industry. Real estate? Sorry, I'm not interested. Su Yu had more money than he could count. If he wanted to enter the real estate industry, he would have done it a long time ago. The Su family bank could give him unlimited loans and investments. However, he felt that Imperial Star was good enough. He could entertain himself and make money. Why should he be so greedy? The most important thing was that he didn't have any time. That way, even if he had money, it would be meaningless. He would be as tired as a dog. He had to fly around every day and have meetings everywhere. I know you're not interested in real estate, but what if this has something to do with Qin Chu? Wuxia continued to ask. What does it have to do with Qin Chu? Su Yu was indeed interested. Are you interested in joining forces with me to defeat Qin Chu? Beat him until he can't turn around. Su Yu was slightly shocked. Wuxia continued to laugh. Lord Su, this isn't a joke. I'm serious. So, you hate Qin Chu so much because he dug up your ancestral grave? Su Yu asked. Wuxia, no, I just really want to defeat him. But don't you think it's an interesting challenge? Mr. Li invested in our company and held a snooker competition. Actually, even if Qin Chu doesn't win, we'll still work with him because Qin Chu has already met Mr. Li before. Anyone who can catch Mr. Li's eye is undoubtedly a business genius. He's obviously become the leader of our company, but where do you think you and I are? I don't think we're stupider than him, but we're not ambitious enough. If you're so ambitious, you can do it yourself. Su Yu said in a disdainful tone as he looked down on Wuxia. It's not that I can't do it myself, but it's a waste of time. I don't have much patience left. I think if we work together, GK will collapse within a month and Qin Chu will have nowhere else to go. Aren't you afraid that Huamin will hate you to death? Su Yu was surprised. He always thought that Wuxia treated Huamin well. Why did he suddenly become so ambitious? Did he really not care about Huamin? That's what women do. It's not what I do. What I want is very simple. It's the result, the start of a war. Unintentionally, it's to determine the winner and the loser. The winner is king while the loser is in the wrong. The law of the jungle. Wuxia licked his lips, still smiling. However, President Su had a feeling that his smile was creepy and made him uncomfortable. Huh? You're ambitious, Su Yu sneered. I'm a man. What's the point of living if I'm not ambitious? Wuxia didn't think much of it. So, you've decided to go against Qin Chu, right? Not against Qin Chu, but against GK, Wuxia emphasized. So, if I work with you, what do you plan to give me in return? We can split GK 50-50, and each of us will get half. What about Huamin? Su Yu sneered. Wuxia looked at Su Yu with a complicated expression. Lord Su, you're so funny. I always thought you treated Huamin quite well. Su Yu lit up a cigarette and said slowly with it in his mouth. I did treat her well, Wuxia admitted. But, are you sure you want to kill her? If you go against GK, you're going against Qin Chu. If Qin Chu is in trouble, I don't need to tell you what kind of state Huamin is in, you saw it at the hospital last time. So, you're forcing Huamin into a dead end. Su Yu said in all seriousness, if I have a way to make Qin Chu leave me on, are you willing to work with me? Wuxia suddenly asked. Upon hearing this, Su Yu's expression changed slightly. So, you're saying that if we succeed, GK will be yours, and Huamin will be mine? Su Yu asked. Chapter 1332. Su Yu's words were always half-truths, so those who said they could see through Su Yu with one look were just bragging. Wuxian had a headache every time he talked to Su Yu because this guy didn't play by the rules. Why would he always create such a weird scene? Wuxian rubbed his temples. Lord Su, I can't promise you that. I can promise you that I'll give you half of GK, but Mian, she's a person, not an object. I can't just give her whatever she wants, it's up to her. Of course, if she wants to be with you, that's her choice, and I can't do anything about it. Then aren't you bullshitting? Su Yu laughed as he scolded Wuxian. If Mian wants to be with you? Wuxian sure knew how to play games. If Huamin wanted to be with Su Yu, he would have done it a long time ago. Why would he wait until now? So, Su Yu thought that Wuxian's promise was as meaningless as a fart. Because Su Yu was scolding him with a smile, Wuxian couldn't really get angry. He was already regretting his decision to work with this guy. It wasn't that he couldn't deal with him, he just needed to waste some time. What a pity. So, Lord Su, do you agree or not? Give me an answer. Originally, Su Yu was the one who was impatient, but now Wuxian was the one who was impatient. He felt like he would break down if he continued to talk to Su Yu. Su Yu took a few deep puffs of his cigarette and pressed the butt of the cigarette into the crystal ashtray on the coffee table. He replied in all seriousness, I'm not doing it. Wuxian expected this, so he smiled. Okay then, I won't bother Lord Su anymore. Wuxian patted his shoulder, straightened his collar, and left Seductive Fox. If Su Yu were to defeat Qin Chu, he would have to rely on his own abilities, he would never ask for help. Was this considered cheating? Bullying with numbers? Furthermore, it was even more impossible for him to find someone like Wuxian. Everyone in the industry knew that Su Yu had a fiery temper, but most importantly, he had the capital. The Su family's power was influential even in the capital, let alone here. However, Su Yu was actually very smart. He was very quick-witted and had a good eye for people. From the very beginning, he had never liked Wuxian. He even felt that only an opponent like Qin Chu was qualified to compete with him, while Wuxian would always be a despicable person. Wuxian focused on the result, not the process. Therefore, he was willing to use any means to achieve his goal. That was why it was said that everyone was always different. If Qin Chu and Su Yu were called heroes in troubled times, then Wuxian was a ruthless person. He was just like Cao Cao, deceitful and cunning. However, one couldn't erase the glory that he had achieved. Huamin probably didn't know that the three men beside her were like the three kingdoms, each with their own thoughts. All she wanted was to live happily with Qin Chu and wait for the birth of their baby. Wuxian walked out of Seductive Fox in a very bad mood. If Su Yu didn't agree, he could have just said so. However, Su Yu tricked him and even yelled at him. The worst part was that he couldn't get angry. Su Yu? Very good. After I deal with Qin Chu, I'll deal with you. There's still plenty of time. Wuxian smirked as he got into his flashy Rolls-Royce Phantom. On the top floor of Seductive Fox, Rick was wearing a black British trench coat as he leaned against the wall like a gentleman. He was listening to the conversation that just took place in a private room. Wuxian wanted to work with Su Yu, but was mercilessly rejected by Su Yu. Rick and Qin Chu had been suspicious of Wuxian for a long time, so they had been keeping an eye on him. However, they hadn't received any news. Why did he suddenly want to deal with Qin Chu? He even said that he would leave Huamin in a month. What did he have on him? Rick felt like he had to talk to Qin Chu about this tomorrow. Chapter 1333. Wuxian looked at his watch and saw that it was almost 11 p.m. There was no way he could go back to his mansion to sleep because Song Yishe was there. Wuxian thought that he hated people as much as he did, but Song Yishe was worse than him. He didn't even want to look at her, because he felt nauseous. He picked up his phone and called Wang Xianxia. The girl was still half asleep. After receiving Wuxian's call, she quickly got out of bed and got dressed. She didn't even have time to put on makeup. Then, she ran downstairs and waited for Wuxian's car at the entrance of the neighborhood. To be honest, she looked very average and wasn't pretty at all. She still didn't know what kind of luck she had to have attracted President Hua's attention. What was even more surprising was that, after knowing each other for so long, Wuxian gave her money and bought her clothes, but he never touched her. She once thought that Huasiqian might not be able to do it. The car slowly stopped by the side of the road. Wang Xianxia opened the car door and was about to get in. Sit in the back. Huasiqian hated it when someone else sat in the front passenger seat. Other than Huamin, no one else was allowed to do it. Wang Xianxia didn't dare to say anything and immediately sat in the back. Then, the car slowly started moving. President, you're still awake? Wang Xianxia was a little scared of Huasiqian. Therefore, she stuttered when she spoke to him. Huasiqian only responded coldly. Wang Xianxia didn't dare to say anything else. The car slowly drove into another of Huasiqian's private residences. Wang Xianxia had been here a few times and had even spent the night here. Therefore, she was familiar with this place. Go take a shower, Huasiqian ordered. Wang Xianxia nodded and went into the bathroom. She took a while before coming out. She originally thought that something would happen today. However, it was the same as every other time. Huasiqian only hugged her from behind. His movements were light and gentle. She felt a little indignant. She felt that if they didn't sleep together, they wouldn't have a substantial relationship. She just wouldn't be recognized. Therefore, she boldly turned around and gently slid her hand across Huasiqian's chest. President Hua? Her voice was a little coy. Turn around. Huasiqian's face immediately turned cold. His gaze was terrifying. Wang Xianxia was so scared that she didn't dare to take another step. She turned around stiffly. After that, he didn't dare to speak anymore. Even his breathing was very, very light. After a long time, Wang Xianxia felt that she was about to fall asleep. She heard Huasiqian murmur gently behind her, Mian. Who on earth was Mian? Wang Xianxia didn't know much about the upper-class society. Therefore, she didn't know who Huasiqian was talking about, and she didn't dare to tell anyone. She felt that Huasiqian was a very scary person. If she said too much, she might get into trouble. The next morning, the two of them got up and put on their clothes. Huasiqian was just about to leave with Wang Xianxia when he saw Song Yisher's car parked at the entrance. Get in the car first, Huasiqian ordered. Wang Xianxia lowered her head and didn't dare to say anything. She directly walked towards the car. Song Yisher just happened to get out of the car and walked across from Wang Xianxia. As she passed by, she deliberately grabbed Wang Xianxia's chin and carefully looked at her for a while. Wang Xianxia was scared out of her wits. She already knew that this woman was Huasiqian's wife and was even Mayor Song's daughter. As the third party, wouldn't she be torn apart? Ha, what a disappointment, Song Yisher mocked. Wang Xianxia didn't dare to say anything. She broke free from Song Yisher's hand and immediately got into the car. What are you doing here? Huasiqian slightly frowned. Seeing Song Yisher so early in the morning really put him in a bad mood. Chapter 1334. It was as disgusting as seeing a black crow cawing in the morning. I have something to talk to you about, Song Yisher said arrogantly. Huasiqian glanced outside cautiously. Come in. Yes, he was cautious because the paparazzi like to hide in front of rich people's houses and take pictures. Song Yisher followed Huasiqian into the house, wearing a wine-red cashmere coat and 7-centimeter black boots. Go ahead, when are we getting divorced? Song Yisher asked straightforwardly. Now's not the time. Then how long do we have to wait? Song Yisher didn't want to continue this relationship for another day. Not only would she have to live like a widow, but she would also have to pretend to be a loving couple in front of outsiders. It was disgusting. Recently, she didn't even dare to see Qin Chu because she still hadn't figured out her relationship with Huasiqian. So, she really wanted to end things. You don't have to worry about that. It won't take long, because I don't want to spend another minute with you. I used to think that you were a mysterious person, as if you had a lot of secrets, but now, it seems like you do have secrets, and there's secrets that you can't tell anyone. Huasiqian raised his eyebrows slightly and stared at Song Yisher's delicate face. That's weird, how did I know? Song Yisher said proudly. Huasiqian didn't answer, because your eyes betrayed you. I just realized that you only look like a human when you're with Huamin. Otherwise, you're no different from a beast. Huasiqian still didn't say anything. That woman just now. She doesn't look that great, but she looks a little like Huamin. So, the woman in your heart, the woman that even Mo Shui can't replace, is Huamin, right? I can't believe you like your own sister. You're a complete pervert. As soon as Song Yisha finished speaking, Huasiqian walked over and grabbed her collar. Have you said enough? His voice was cold. The more scared you are, the more I want to say. You're a pervert. Even if you're not related by blood, your surname is still Hua. The fact that you like her so much is enough to prove how perverted you are. Even Huamin doesn't know about this. If she did, she would be so scared. She has a pervert like you by her side. HM? Just as Song Yisha finished speaking, Huasiqian grabbed him by the collar and threw him out. He fell to the ground with a loud thud. She fell so hard that she felt like her organs were being torn apart. Song Yisha? Don't test my limits. So what if you know? I'm still going to say the same thing. You can go out and say it, but I guarantee that the Song family's reputation will be ruined. You won't be a rich heiress in the future. I'm afraid that even if you become a prostitute, people will think that you're not good enough. A bitch should act like a bitch. Don't pretend to be a detective to figure out what I'm thinking. After speaking, Huasiqian took out a white handkerchief and wiped his hands. It was as if touching Song Yisha was a dirty thing to do. She said that she knew his secret, but so what? Would he be afraid of people finding out? Would someone as insignificant as Song Yisha be a threat to him? That would be the biggest joke in the world. He should have taught Song Yisha a lesson, but he really didn't have the time to deal with her right now. The war between him and Qin Chu was about to begin. He had to make sure that everything was foolproof. After getting into the car, Wang Xianxia sat in the back seat and asked nervously, President Hua, is your wife angry? Is it because of me? Chapter 1335. Who do you think you are? Huasiqian had just gotten into an argument with Song Yisha. Wang Xianxia realized that she had said something wrong and immediately shut her mouth. GK Corporation. Rick's fiery red Ferrari was parked in front of the GK Corporation, and he took his personal elevator to the top floor. Qin Chu had just finished a morning meeting, so he wasn't surprised to see Rick. He knew that Rick had something important to talk to him about, so he dismissed everyone else. He asked Yang to wait outside the president's office. Qin Chu and Rick's relationship was similar to Gao Ran's. Although they didn't spend much time together, their feelings for each other didn't diminish. Like Qin Chu, Rick was a man of few words. He was even quieter and cooler than Qin Chu. Therefore, many pretty girls who went to Seductive Fox wanted to flirt with this cold and arrogant mixed-blood guy. He just didn't expect that in the end, it would be captured by a novice college student who didn't know anything. Qin Chu, I have something important to say. Rick was very serious. You're getting married? Rick never thought that Qin Chu would have such a funny side to him. He felt as if countless alpacas were running through his heart, but he had to pretend to be calm. No, it's something else. Qin Chu picked up the Chateau Lafite from the wine cabinet, poured 2 glasses, and handed one to Rick. Don't be so formal, sit down and tell me. Rick held the red wine, but he didn't drink or sit down. He wasn't as calm as Qin Chu, and he was very serious about everything. Last time, when Cece asked him to pack a bowl of spicy hot pot, he drove his Ferrari there. He walked in and said to the boss in a serious tone, pack a bowl of spicy hot pot, spicy and spicy, no coriander, and lotus leaf noodles for the main dish. So, this was Rick's style. Huasiqian is going to do something big, you have to be careful. I knew he would do something like this. Qin Chu seemed to have expected this, but he seems to have something on us, Rick added. Blackmail. Qin Chu was slightly startled. Then, Rick took out his phone and took a screenshot of the most important video between Huasiqian and Suyu. Qin Chu didn't say anything after reading it. With Huasiqian's cautious personality, there's no way he wouldn't know that there are cameras in the private room. He also knows about our relationship. So, it could be a smokescreen, Qin Chu analyzed. Yes, but whether it's real or fake, there's no guarantee that he doesn't have it, so you'd better be careful. Qin Chu turned around and looked at the heavy traffic outside the tempered glass. He smiled faintly and said, what will come will come. All the detours in life are actually roads that must be taken. Rick looked at Qin Chu with admiration. He was clearly not that old, but he was mature despite his young age. He was born to be a supreme king. Did you find out anything about Huamin's background? Rick asked. There's a little clue. On New Year's Eve, my wife received a mysterious gift that was worth a fortune. I checked the address and found that it was shipped from Switzerland, but I couldn't find anything there. I'm pretty sure that her family is overseas. I have a feeling that it's not an ordinary person. Rick analyzed. Qin Chu smiled. Ordinary people can't afford $120 million worth of white jade gourds. You're saying she gave Huamin a gift worth $120 million? Rick was shocked as well. The gourds came in a pair. My wife only received one, so I'm guessing that it's her older sister or younger sister. Why can't they be siblings? Rick asked. Chapter 1336. Because only sisters would have such girly thoughts, half each. Qin Chu was also good at analyzing people's psychology. He had never discussed this with Huamin, but he was sure that Huamin's parents weren't Huamin's parents. Her parents wouldn't mail only half of the gourd to Huamin. Can't twins be twins? Rick was still unconvinced. I told you, boys wouldn't choose feminine items like the white jade gourd as a gift. This is the favorite item of the Han Dynasty's imperial concubines. Girls like it. Qin Chu felt a headache coming on. Rick really didn't understand women's minds. That was why he always argued with his girlfriend or drove her away. Rick, how are things going between you and that girl? Qin Chu rarely asked about Rick's personal life, but Huamin was more interested. She's still the same. I really don't understand women's minds. She always says one thing and means another. She says she's not angry, but then she throws a tantrum. She says she doesn't like him, and then... Rick had fallen into a period of frustration over love. Take it slow. You'll understand. Qin Chu patted Rick's shoulder and taught him by example. Do we need more people around Huamin? Recently? I'm afraid that Huaxiqian... Everyone knew that Huamin was Qin Chu's only weakness. Therefore, Rick was worried that Huaxiqian would hurt Huamin in order to deal with Qin Chu. It's okay. He won't do anything to Mian. Qin Chu was sure that not only would Huaxiqian not do anything to Huamin, but he would also be very worried about Huamin. Anyways, be careful. Call me if you need anything. Okay, remember to tell me in advance when you get married, Rick? Rick walked out of the CO's office gloomily. He felt that Qin Chu could no longer have a pleasant chat with him. After Rick left, Qin Chu took out his phone and video called Huamin. Huamin immediately picked it up and smiled brightly. She was wearing a white coat and a pair of black-rimmed glasses. She looked exceptionally likable. Dr. Hua, are you free at noon? Are you here to eat? President Qin, I'm sorry, but I need to take some new drugs from the neurology department at noon. How about tonight? I'll treat you to something delicious tonight. I'll pick you up tonight. Qin Chu gently hung up the phone. Huamin continued to look at the computer and began to carefully screen the new drugs. He didn't even have time to eat at the restaurant. At this moment, the office door was pushed open and Ni Yang walked in with an exquisite lunchbox. Sister Huamin. Why you here? When did you come back? Huamin saw Ni Yang and smiled. I've been back for 2 days. Don't you read the news? As he spoke, Ni Yang placed the lunchbox on Huamin's desk. I brought you lunch, sis. It's your favorite scallop dumplings. There's so much. I can't finish it. Can you eat with your assistant? You're right. Can you call Jie for me? Ni Yang hesitated for a second and then turned around. Qin Jie, your boss wants you to eat. Oh, okay. Qin Jie walked over from the reception desk outside. Most of the nurses at Southside would scream when they saw Ni Yang. After all, he was their idol. To avoid trouble, Ni Yang always wore a black mask, baseball cap, and sunglasses when he came to the hospital. He would only take them off when he was in Huamin's office. Ni Yang's condition was almost healed. Huamin would prescribe some vitamins and Chinese medicine for Ni Yang to take. Every time, Qin Jie was responsible for bringing the medicine to Ni Yang's office. After a while, the two of them became familiar with each other. Xianxia carefully walked in. Jie, come here and eat with us. Chief, it's okay. I can eat in the cafeteria. Xianxia was obviously embarrassed. Before Huamin could say anything, Yang interrupted. The food in your cafeteria is like pig feed. Sit down and eat. I bought 2 servings. Xianxia's face turned slightly red upon hearing this. Chapter 1337. Seeing that both Huamin and Yang insisted, Xianxia sat down and started eating with Huamin. Yang sat with his legs crossed and sipped on his tea. Xianxia chatted with Huamin as they ate. Thank you for your hard work during Chinese New Year. I see that your schedule is packed. Do you want me to ask President Qin to give you some time off? Sure, I'm really tired. I don't want to go out of town. I'll just stay here for a few days. Then, Yang inadvertently glanced at Xianxia. Huamin noticed this subtle movement. She didn't say anything. Xianxia ate quickly and finished her food in a few bites. Then she stood up and said, Chief, I'll be going now. Aren't you going to drink some water? You won't choke. Yang picked up the bottle of water he bought and handed it to Xianxia. She lowered her head and took it. Then she picked it up and ran away. Why is Jie acting so weird today? Huamin muttered to himself. Maybe I'm too handsome? Yang smiled narcissistically. In the afternoon, Huamin went back to his office to pack up after a meeting in the conference room. Xianxia came in and handed him some reports. Chief, these are the orders and receipts for the neurology department this month. Put them here, I'll look at them later. Little Jie, Huamin said slowly. Yeah. Do you like Yang? Huamin suddenly asked. Xianxia's face immediately turned red. I don't dare. How can someone like me like Yang? He's a superstar, and I'm just a little girl from the countryside. I don't even dare to think about it. Xianxia was very nervous and kept talking about the difference between her and Yang. But I feel that Yang seems to be interested in you too. After Huamin said this, Xianxia was even more speechless. Ever since she delivered the medicine to Yang, she had been dealing with him. At first she ignored him, but now, they would occasionally argue. Actually, she knew that she had fallen in love with a superstar, but she didn't dare to think about it. Yang occasionally brought her gifts and sent her WeChat messages, but she didn't dare to reply. She was afraid that she would think too highly of herself. Therefore, she had been avoiding Yang. She was even more afraid that Huamin would object, mock, or even fire her if he found out. Director, I won't do it again. Please don't fire me. I know I'm out of my league. People like Yang won't like people like me. I'll control myself. I'm sorry. Xianxia kept apologizing to Huamin. Huamin was so angry that he smiled helplessly. Jie, you don't have to apologize to me. It's a good thing that you have someone you like. No, I don't deserve to like Yang. I'm just a fan at most. It's really nothing. Huamian had noticed Xianxia's lack of confidence in herself from the moment she was promoted to a full-time employee. However, Xianxia was indeed a very good girl. She was hardworking, proactive, and reliable. Before, Director Li liked her a lot, and now Huamin liked her as well. She was Huamin's right-hand woman. She was about the same age as Yang. She wasn't a beauty, but she was definitely cute with big eyes. It was normal that Yang liked her. Xianxia had a good personality and was very kind. Her only flaw was her lack of confidence. Jie, don't be nervous. Listen to me first. The problem isn't that you like Yang, it's that Yang is pursuing you. He's pursuing me? Xianxia didn't dare to think about it. Of course. Why would he buy 2 servings of food? It's obvious that he saved one for you. Did he spend too much money? Huamin was so angry that he laughed. After hearing Huamin's words, Xianxia was slightly stunned. Chapter 1338. But Xianxia wanted to say something but stopped. No buts. There's no such thing as no one deserves another, as long as you don't know how to cherish another. Jie, you're a kind girl, and Yang is also incredibly innocent. I don't want to ask how hard you've been in the past, but from now on, no matter what you decide to do, you have to be happy. Huamin really liked this assistant. She was obedient and never played tricks. Chief, thank you. Tears welled up in Xianxia's eyes. She didn't think that her chief would view this matter in such a way. It was a pleasant surprise. Okay, don't be so sentimental. You should go back to work. When I have time, I'll talk to Yang. Don't think too much about it. After comforting Xianxia, Huamin went back to packing. After work, Qin Chu came to pick up Huamin and parked her car at South Side. Honey, what are you treating me to? Do you want spicy hot pot skewers? Qin Chu was speechless. I really want it. It's so cold today. It's so nice to eat hot pot skewers, Huamin murmured as she cupped her face in her hands. Okay, let's go eat. Qin Chu really spoiled her. As long as Huamin wanted to eat, he wouldn't complain. The two of them parked their car in front of a big hot pot restaurant on the second ring road. Since it was the beginning of January, there weren't many customers. The two of them sat around a hot pot and ate some hot pot skewers. During the meal, Huamin told Qin Chu about Xianxia and Yang. Qin Chu didn't say anything. Honey, you're not against celebrities dating, right? It's none of my business. Then why aren't you saying anything? I'm just wondering why you were against Jixin and Huang Yu dating, but now you're supporting Yang and Xianxia? Qin Chu didn't know what Huamin thought about these two things. Men and women looked at things from different perspectives. Upon hearing Huang Yu's name, Huamin's heart ached. The night before New Year's Eve, she and Jixin drove to Beishan Public Cemetery to visit Huang Yu. That poor girl. Honey, it has to do with personality, not identity. Yu's too timid and innocent. Her innocence is a bit childish. It's just that she's still a student and hasn't integrated into society, so she can't take a blow. Jixin's young as well, so it's hard for him to maintain an immature relationship because it's too unstable. Yang and Xianxia, on the other hand, have similar experiences. Due to the hardships and misfortunes of their childhood, they're mature. Jia's very meticulous and thoughtful. Whenever I give her a task, she'll do it according to the rules without any excuses. She's very responsible. Yang, on the other hand, has never been tainted by the filth of the entertainment industry. If he still likes Jia after seeing so many different kinds of women, it means that there's something about Jia that attracts him. It's not impulsive, it's mature mutual attraction. After hearing Huamin's analysis, Qin Chu gave her a thumbs up. Honey, you should study psychology like Jiang Xiaowei. Your analysis is on point. I'm studying psychology. I'm quite interested in it. After Xiaowei gives birth and goes back to work, I'm going to harass her every day and ask her for advice. Ha! Huamin laughed cheerfully. Qin Chu picked up a skewer of cooked shrimp balls and placed it on Huamin's plate. The couple had a great time eating. In the blink of an eye, the 15th day of the first lunar month arrived. At night, the two decided to go back to the Qin Manor for dinner, so they had time during the day. Finally, both of them had time off, so Qin Chu suggested that they take Huamin to a hot spring resort in the suburbs. However, Huamin didn't agree. She wasn't in the mood to go to a hot spring resort. Honey, can you go somewhere with me? I really want to go. But Chapter 1339. Mingju Temple. Qin Chu froze for a second before nodding his head. After having breakfast at South Hill Manor in the morning, the two of them set off. Mingju Temple was located 60 kilometers east of Sea City. In the depths of a picturesque mountain, there was a 1,000-year-old ancient temple. It was said to have existed since the Tang dynasty, and after several renovations, it was still a small temple deep in the mountains. Even after so many years, it still had incense. On the way there, Huamin told Qin Chu about this legend. Honey, I heard that there's a Guan Yin Bodhisattva statue in Mingju Temple. It's a natural statue that floated up from the South Sea during low tide. Later, people traveled thousands of miles to worship it on this mountain. It's very effective. You believe in this too? When people are desperate, there's nothing wrong with praying to God. Huamin hugged Qin Chu's arm and smiled. The two of them drove for more than an hour before they arrived. Perhaps it was because of the weather, but there weren't many people. Qin Chu and Huamin were both wearing black cashmere coats. They were wearing white scarves, and it was obvious that they were a couple style. However, the couple's good looks attracted a lot of attention along the way, especially Mr. Qin. Many passers-by took out their phones and secretly took photos. "Honey, should we buy incense at the entrance?" It was Qin Chu's first time coming to a place like this, so he didn't know what to do. "No, we'll just go inside." "Kind people, please give us some money." "Bodhisattvas, please give us some charity." There were many beggars at the entrance of the temple, holding iron basins and kneeling there. Huamin took out a lot of 10 yuan in change. Each of them gave 20 to 30 yuan. "Aren't you afraid they're scammers?" Qin Chu hugged her shoulder. "Even if they're scammers, it's fine. It's not easy to kneel here and beg in the snow." Huamin decided from the bottom of his heart that he was going to do a good deed for the day. Usually, when people called her Mary Sue, she would laugh. Perhaps some people had limited intelligence and couldn't tell what a real Mary Sue was. The kind of person who would quibble for a mad dog when it bit someone, or complain about killing a fly when it was killed, that was the Mary Sue, okay? Huamin felt that he was not a busybody. Like Lei Feng, he was eager to help everyone. She only helped those she cared about. With Huamin's personality, she was no longer a Mary Sue. At most, she had the right values. As a human being, to live in this world, one must first have the right values. But just because she had good values, it didn't mean that she was a saint. But today, she was going to be a Mary Sue praying for blessings, because she came here today with 3 wishes, at the foot of the mountain, looking at the 1,700 steps. It was just like the stairway to heaven. Qin Chu was still puzzled. "Do you want to take the cable car up?" Huamin couldn't help but laugh. "Do you think this is a tourist attraction, Mr. Qin? There's no cable car, we have to walk up?" "Okay, I'll take it as a workout, let's go." Qin Chu tightly held Huamin's hand and was about to walk up. "You can walk up, what about you?" Qin Chu turned around and looked at Huamin curiously. "I want to kowtow every 3 steps. "You're crazy." Qin Chu was a little incredulous. 1,700 steps, with such a high slope, kowtowing every 3 steps, wouldn't it be tiring? "Honey, I came here today with 3 wishes. I hope that I can do something to move the gods." After speaking, Huamin let go of Qin Chu's hand. After walking up 3 steps, she knelt down on both knees and put her palms together. "Mia, you don't have to do this." Qin Chu looked at her with some heartache. He seemed to already know what her 3 wishes were. Chapter 1340. After knowing each other for so many years, Qin Chu knew Huamin's temper very well. No one could change her mind once she decided on something. Qin Chu's heart ached for his wife. Huamin walked up another 3 steps and knelt down. Qin Chu also knelt down beside her. Huamin turned her head in surprise. "Honey, I'll be with you. No matter what you do, I'll be with you." Qin Chu's eyes were filled with love. Qin Chu was an atheist. He didn't believe in heaven, earth, ghosts, or gods. However, he believed in Huamin. As long as it was something Huamin wanted to do, he was willing to accompany her. Kowtowing every 3 steps on the 1,700 steps wasn't just for show. Huamin's heart was filled with gratitude. It was her idea to come to Mingju Temple this time. She didn't want Qin Chu to end up like her. However, she also understood Qin Chu's temper. No one could change his mind once he decided on something. Just like that, the couple slowly walked up the steps in the cold weather. Passers-by who happened to pass by all looked at them in surprise. They weren't ascetics, so they didn't need to kowtow every 3 steps on the difficult path of Buddha worship. After walking for a long time, Huamin felt exhausted, but she still persisted, all for the sake of her heart's desire. Qin Chu saw that Huamin was exhausted, so he intimately supported her. Then, the 2 of them walked up the steps together, 1 step at a time. By the time they reached the top of the mountain, 5 hours had already passed. They walked from morning to afternoon. Ordinary people didn't have this kind of perseverance. Fortunately, Huamin was patient, and Qin Chu was by her side. When the 2 of them reached the top of the mountain, they felt as if everything had opened up. Huamin's legs were trembling, and she couldn't even stand properly. There was still about a kilometer to go from the top of the mountain to the temple. Without another word, Qin Chu picked up Huamin horizontally. "Darling, put me down. I can walk by myself." Huamin felt sorry for Qin Chu. He was also very tired, but he still had to carry her. He was simply looking for a beating. But no matter how much Huamin protested, Qin Chu didn't say a word. He silently carried her all the way to the entrance of the temple. The two of them held the free incense sticks at the entrance and kowtowed one by one. Then Huamin invested a few hundred yuan of incense money into each virtuous incense. Finally, the two of them arrived at the wishing tree. The 100-year-old tree stood there, graceful and graceful, with a hint of green in the cold wind. There were many red prayer ribbons hanging on the branches. Huamin spent 20 renminbi on 2 stakes. He gave one to Qin Chu and kept the other for himself. "Write it down. I heard that you can make 3 wishes in front of the Bodhisattva." Huamin smiled innocently. Then, he hit to the side and picked up a pen to write slowly. Qin Chu smiled but didn't say anything. He also picked up a prayer ribbon and walked to the other side. Soon, the two of them walked under the tree with the prayer ribbons. "Darling, what did you write?" Huamin curiously wanted to see Qin Chu's prayer ribbon. "Didn't you tell me not to let others see it? It probably won't work." Qin Chu's lips curled up. Huamin pouted. "But, Mr. Qin, I won't read it. Let's go put it on." Huamin playfully climbed up the tree to make her prayer ribbon higher. Luckily, it wasn't high, or else Qin Chu found a place with fewer prayer ribbons and put it on. "Where are we going now?" Qin Chu held Huamin's hand and asked gently. "I want to ask for a lot." Huamin hugged Qin Chu and continued to act cute. Chapter 1341. "Okay." Qin Chu nodded and accompanied Huamin all the way to the divination hall. Apparently, there was a very old woman here who was very accurate in interpreting divination. However, when they arrived, they saw a little monk sweeping the floor at the door. "Little master, can I ask for a divination stick?" "Yes, but my master isn't here today, so I can't interpret it in detail." "Oh, I see. Do you want a divination stick?" the little monk asked with a broom in his hand. "Sure, how much is it?" "Divination sticks are free. My master only costs 1 yuan, but he's not here today, so you can get a divination stick for free." The little monk was very enthusiastic and ran over to get the stick holder. The masters of Mingju Temple were indeed very simple and not commercialized. It wasn't the kind of place where everything cost money. Divination sticks were free, but 1 yuan for interpretation. This kind of place was probably extremely rare in the country. "Honey, do you want to get one too?" Huamin tilted her head and asked Qin Chu. "No, just get one. You represent me." Qin Chu smiled. Huamin pursed her lips and smiled. Then she knelt in front of the Bodhisattva and piously shook the stick holder. Finally, with a pa sound, a bamboo stick fell out. The little monk picked it up for her and handed it to Huamin. When Huamin saw the bamboo stick clearly, her heart skipped a beat. It was clearly written on it, "Bad lot." There was a simple poem beside it. "The 79th lot, the flowers in March flow with the water, the wind blows thousands of sorrowful hearts. Try to see the spring fade and autumn fade, and in the blink of an eye, one's hair turns white." Qin Chu saw that Huamin's expression wasn't right. He took a step forward and looked at the bamboo stick in her hand. His expression also changed. The little monk glanced at the two of them and said, "Benefactor, this is a bad lot. No matter what you ask for, it's a bad omen. Huamin, why don't you get another one?" Qin Chu slowly said to comfort Huamin, "No, it's fate. Maybe that's it." Huamin didn't need to ask a master to interpret it. He could understand it with a single glance. Sad words like withered flower and fallen leaf were definitely bad omens. Huamin suddenly thought of the old master that his grandmother had brought him to. He had once predicted that there would be a great calamity in his life. From the looks of it, the great calamity was about to arrive. Huamin was not a particularly superstitious person, so he did not particularly care about these things. However, she had been feeling uneasy recently. Nothing had happened, but she felt restless, as if something was going to happen. It was the same for working in the hospital and sleeping at home. This feeling was especially bad. She had never felt this way before. Even during the middle school exams and college entrance exams, she had never felt this way. Huamin carefully placed the bamboo stick back into the pot. He took out a few hundred pieces and placed them in the merit box beside him. Then she walked out arm in arm with Qin Chu. You don't have to worry so much about these things. You still have to rely on yourself for a lot of things, Qin Chu comforted her. I know, honey, you don't have to worry about me. I'm very strong, anyways. No matter what happens in the future, no matter how difficult it is, it won't be able to defeat the two of us. You have to remember, there's only hope as long as we're alive, so we have to work hard. Qin Chu nodded. He pulled Huamian into his arms and hugged her tighter. The couple stood at the top of the mountain and looked at the scenery under the boundless white snow. It was a unique scene. Huamin leaned into Qin Chu's arms and tightly hugged his waist. She kowtowed every 3 steps. Her knees were already red and swollen, and her forehead was slightly scratched. She only wanted to move the gods. She had come here with 3 wishes. Chapter 1342. First, she wanted to be with Qin Chu forever. Second, she wanted to see her real family in her lifetime. Third, she wanted to give birth to Qin Chu's baby. This was the biggest pressure on Huamian's heart, as well as her strongest wish. She wasn't a wishy-washy person. She had never mentioned it to Qin Chu, but she had always kept it in her heart. If there really are gods and bodhisattvas in this world, then I hope you can hear my wish. I hope you can give me a little bit of strength to make my dreams come true, seeing that I'm so pious. I, Huamin, don't ask for wealth in my life. I just want to be safe and sound. She and Qin Chu didn't have that much money. They didn't have that much power and status. She didn't want to be famous. As long as they didn't leave each other, Huamin didn't know if this could become a reality, but it was what she wanted. After a whole day of torment, the two of them were tired and hungry. They walked down the mountain and drove back to the city. They were starving like dogs. When they passed by a home-cooked restaurant, Huamin couldn't help but ask Qin Chu to stop the car by the side. The two of them ordered a few stir-fried dishes in this small restaurant. They ate with great relish, perhaps because they were too hungry. Qin had already returned to New Zealand. When he first returned, he remembered to call Huamin every day to tell him that he was safe. Later on, he got busy and forgot about it. Days passed, and in the blink of an eye, the first month of the lunar calendar had passed. The new year was officially over. At the beginning of February, Southside held a meeting. Huamin took the initiative to resign as the president of the Hua Genetics Association. It shocked everyone, but President Wu didn't ask much and immediately approved it. Hua Xiqian didn't understand and sent Huamin a WeChat message that day. Why are you resigning from the Hua Genetics Association? Because I'm too busy. I can ask President Wu to reduce your workload. It's okay. I like my job. I want to do what a neurologist should do. I don't want to manage a genetic association like a businessman. Haha, but are you also the person in charge of the Mian Foundation? Hua Xiqian laughed. It's different. How is it different? Hua Xiqian was determined to get an answer. My husband established Mian Genetics for me. It's our family's genetic association. As for the Hua Corporation, it has nothing to do with me anymore. Oh, so I'm an outsider to you? Hua Xiqian sneered. Huamin remained silent, but the answer was obvious. That night, Hua Xiqian withdrew the Hua family genetics, shocking Southside. Huamin knew that he was angry, so he removed the gene. In order to ensure the continuation of Southside's benefits for the patients, Huamin announced that the Mian Foundation would be invested into Southside that very night. President Wu didn't say anything. He allowed Huamin to make the decision herself. It was obvious that Huamin was beginning to draw a line between himself and Hua Xiqian. On the night of the snooker celebrity night, Hua Xiqian whispered something into Qin Chu's ear, causing him to lose the match. Although Qin Chu didn't tell Huamin the truth, she vaguely guessed that it had something to do with her. Plus, she had been feeling uneasy lately, and she began to understand she needed to get rid of the dangers in her life. Therefore, Hua Xiqian became the first person she needed to get rid of. However, Huamin didn't expect that her little actions would accelerate Huasiqian's plot. That night, while Qin was working overtime, Huamin was watching TV at home. A piece of news shocked her. Mayor Song officially granted the piece of land that he promised to GK to the Hua Corporation. Huamin picked up her phone and was just about to call Qin when she heard the door open. Qin was back. Chapter 1343. Seeing that Qin was back, Huamin put on his slippers and ran over to him. "Honey, I just saw the news." "I know." Qin lovingly patted Huamin's head. No matter how bad his mood was, he would always feel happy when he saw Huamin. There was nothing that could affect him, you know? How's that possible? Huamian was certain that GK would be the king of the land. However, he didn't expect Huasiqian to take advantage of the situation. It's normal. Huasiqian is now Uncle Song's son-in-law, so he has to take care of his family. "But I promised you. How can you do this?" The mayor can't go back on his word. Huamin was unhappy. "It's okay. That's Uncle Song's decision. I respect him. It's just a piece of land. GK doesn't care." Qin was more open-minded and comforted Huamin. "But, honey, that's not how things should be done. I think." Before Huamin could finish, Qin interrupted him. "Honey, is there food? I'm starving." Yes, I'll go get it ready right now." Huamin ran into the kitchen. "A young lady, go get some rest." "We'll do it." The kitchen maids were very helpful. No, you guys go get some rest. "I'll do it." Huamin was worried that her husband would be in a bad mood, so she volunteered to make Qin 4 dishes and a soup. Previously, when they were at Imperial Park, she often sat down and fed him. Later, they moved to South Hill Manor. The housekeeper, the maids, the chauffeur, the gardener, and the security guards. There were so many people in the house that Huamin couldn't show off his cooking skills anymore. It was a rare opportunity for Huamin to show off his skills. Stir-fried broccoli, sweet and sour pork with pineapple, stir-fried pork with green pepper, stewed pork ribs with yam, and borscht soup. Qin had a good appetite and actually ate 2 bowls of white rice. After dinner, the couple went upstairs to take a shower. After changing into her pajamas, Huamin lay in Qin arms and acted like a spoiled child. "Honey, have you been under a lot of pressure lately?" He didn't know how to answer Mr. Qin's question. "Do you want me to give you a massage?" Huamin offered to massage Qin shoulders. "I don't need a massage. How about you help me warm up?" Qin smiled. Huamin. After Huamin was pinned down on the ground and executed, there was only one question in his mind. Didn't they say that the company was in a crisis? Why was Mr. Qin still in the mood? How could he be so careless? Qin wasn't surprised by Huasiqian's actions. In fact, he was already prepared for it. After Huasiqian got the land, he announced that he was entering the entertainment industry while building a massive resort. The Hua Corporation's big move immediately attracted the attention of the entire city. In front of the TV, Huasiqian was wearing an orange suit, looking especially flamboyant and eye-catching. "President Hua, did the Hua Corporation make any big moves recently? Didn't you guys see it?" Huasiqian answered nonchalantly. "President Hua, didn't you say that GK already decided to own that piece of land? Why did they suddenly give it to the Hua Corporation? Was there a secret behind this that no one knew about? I think you should ask my father-in-law about this question." Lin Fan said. "President Hua, did you enter the entertainment industry because you want to compete with President Su and Qin? What are you talking about? I'm a businessman. Everything I do is to make money. No one has anything against money." Huasiqian sneered. "President Hua, your father passed away less than a year ago. Don't you think it's inappropriate for you to dress so brightly? Do you think it's appropriate for me to not wear clothes to show my respect for my father?" Huasiqian retorted. The reporters were at a loss for words. "President Hua, I heard that you've removed the Hua Corporation from Southside. Why did you do that?" "I'm not working with you anymore." "There's no reason." "President Hua, I heard that you and your wife, Song Yishir, have a strained relationship. Is there a third party?" The reporters always picked the most difficult and embarrassing questions to ask. Chapter 1344. If that's the case, do you think my father-in-law will give me the land? Then Wuxia added, my wife and I love each other very much. Thank you for your attention. In front of the TV, Xianxia was so angry that she wanted to smash the TV. This man was lying through his teeth. What did he mean by love? Their relationship was like that of enemies who killed their parents. If murder wasn't illegal, they would have stabbed each other countless times. Cousin, do you think Wuxia suddenly wants to start an entertainment industry so that he can pick up girls more easily? This scumbag. Xianxia guessed. Impossible, he's starting an entertainment company because he wants to compete with Su Yu and Qin Chu. Xianxia had a clearer understanding of this point. Right now, only Imperial Star and GK could start an entertainment company. Wuxia wanted to join them. He didn't want to make money, he wanted to get a share of the pie, or he wanted to declare war. Isn't that suicidal? How can he be a match for Qin Chu and Su Yu? Xianxia froze. Don't underestimate Wuxia, he's very vicious and very cunning. Xianxia didn't think that he would lose. Instead, she began to worry about Qin Chu. At this thought, Xianxia picked up her purse and stood up. Xianxia, you can go back first. I have something to do outside. Xianxia hadn't been to GK in a long time, and when she appeared in front of the president's office again, she was surprised. When she appeared again, Assistant Yang felt awkward. Miss Song, our president, isn't here. You can go back. Assistant Yang didn't know who Xianxia was, and he knew that his president didn't like Xianxia, so he directly closed the door. Impossible. President Qin must be here. I have something to talk to him about. Miss Song, you're putting me in a difficult position. Assistant Yang was about to argue with Xianxia when Qin Chu finished a high-level meeting and walked back. Coincidentally, Qin Chu. Xianxia was very excited to see Qin Chu again. What's the matter? Qin Chu remained indifferent. Yes, I really have something to tell you. Just give me 5 minutes. There's no need. Let's go back. Qin Chu wouldn't even give Xianxia 5 minutes. He knew that time was precious, and he didn't want to waste it on someone who didn't matter to him. It was meaningless. Seeing that Qin Chu didn't want to talk to her, Xianxia didn't give up and shouted behind him, Qin Chu, Wuxia is going to deal with you. Be careful, he's very cunning. Thank you for the reminder, Qin Chu said without even turning his head. Then he went straight into the office and closed the door. He forcefully kept Xianxia out of the room. Even Assistant Yang was feeling awkward. However, Xianxia didn't think much of it. She even shamelessly said to Yang, you too, you have to remind President Qin that Wuxia isn't easy to deal with. If he needs help, he can come to me at any time. I'll always be on Qin Chu's side. Yang weakly replied, then can you ask your dad to return the Land King to GK first? Xianxia, the Land King thing isn't that simple. My dad was threatened by that bastard. Anyways, he didn't do it willingly. Miss Song, you should go back. It's cold here, don't catch a cold. Yang didn't want to waste time talking to her. Xianxia angrily turned around and left. When it was almost noon, Yang rushed into the president's office. Sir, I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want to hear first? The bad news. The bad news is, Mo Shui jumped ship and went to Hu Entertainment. She took a lot of our newbies with her. Annie Liang was also taken away by her. Now we only have an Yang left. What's the good news? Qin Chu asked calmly. Chapter 1345. The good news is, if they leave, they have to pay double the penalty. Our company will make a small profit. Qin Chu was speechless. Yang was very nervous, afraid that the president would be angry. However, Qin Chu didn't. He wouldn't blame his employees for this sudden crisis. Tell the executives at GK Entertainment that we're having a meeting in 5 minutes. Yes, sir. 5 minutes later, Qin Chu sat in the center of the conference room and looked at the 12 executives in silence. What do you guys think? Qin Chu looked around and slowly asked. President Qin, I think the most important thing right now is to release a statement from the PR team. That way, we'll have an advantage in public opinion. What do you mean? Qin Chu continued to ask. Smear the artists who left. Say that they betrayed us and were bought by the whole corporation. As long as we misrepresent them, we'll win in public opinion. Then, we'll hire some ghostwriters to spread the news online. They might be boycotted by the public. This way, they'll know that betraying us won't end well. This executive's suggestion was good, but it went against the bottom line of morality. Qin Chu found it shameful that Huamian would maliciously defame the artists who had left. I don't want to do that. Although the artists who left broke their contracts, they did make a lot of money for the company in the past year. They still have to make a living in this industry. I don't want to kill them all. Qin Chu and Huo Xiqian didn't want to involve innocent artists. Mo Shui was Huo Xiqian's lover, so it was inevitable that she broke her contract. She instigated the others to leave, so they were all victims. There was no need to smear their names. Plus, it wasn't the style of a big corporation. It would make them look cheap. Do you have any other suggestions? Qin Chu continued to ask. President Qin, what we lack right now are celebrities. Should we think of a way to poach other artists? This isn't something that can be done in a short period of time. We need to take it slow. You're right. The executive scratched his head and didn't dare to say more. President Qin, why don't we send a lawyer's letter first? According to the contract, even if they breached it, they still have to go through legal procedures. Well, that's fine. Go ahead and arrange it. Send a lawyer's letter first. Qin Chu nodded. The meeting lasted for more than an hour. When they left, Qin Chu was in a bad mood. A large number of artists leaving was a fatal blow to an entertainment company. Also, there would be all kinds of speculations and scandals about GK on the internet. Although GK was a big corporation and didn't expect the entertainment company to make money, it was still important to maintain its image. Back then, he started GK Entertainment because he wanted to declare war on Suyu. Now that Huo Xiqian had interfered, did that mean that a war had begun? Qin Chu returned to the office and started to deal with all kinds of things. He also had to do interviews with important media. Huamin was the last to know. She spent the entire morning assisting the orthopedics department in performing a difficult surgery. His phone was turned off for 4 whole hours. As an assistant doctor, he naturally had to take care of every patient. By the time Huamin came out of the operating room, it was already 12:30 in the afternoon. She was a bit hungry, so she changed out of her clothes and wanted to go to the cafeteria. When she was halfway there, she realized that her phone had not been turned on. She waited for her to turn it on. Her WeChat was about to explode. All kinds of messages came in. There were even a lot of phone calls from unknown numbers. Chapter 1346. There were also countless text messages, all of which went something like this. Hello, Mrs. Qin, I'm a reporter from Nandu Daily. Can you accept my phone interview? What do you think about the crisis your husband's company is facing? Does GK have any major countermeasures? What's going on? Huamin muttered to herself, confused. She didn't know what was going on until she opened her best friend's WeChat group. Zhu Lingling took screenshots of the news and showed them to Huamin. Jiang Xiaowei was also very worried. Huo Xiqian is digging his own grave. I can't believe he did this to Qin Chu. You have to teach him a lesson, Jiang Xiaowei said. Huo Xiqian, tell Mr. Qin to be more ruthless and kill that bastard Huo Xiqian. He's so shameless. How could he let his mistress Mo Sa play such dirty tricks? I really look down on him. Zhu Lingling cursed viciously. Huamian lowered her head and carefully read the eye-catching headlines on the news. GK Entertainment is facing a major crisis. Artists are jumping ship to the whole corporation. Is Ni Yang the only one left? Only then did Huamin realize that Huo Xiqian's Huo Entertainment had already started poaching people. GK was the biggest victim, while Su Yu's Imperial Star remained unscathed. GK's artists, on the other hand, had all left, leaving only Ni Yang. This kind of scandal was unprecedented. When Huo Xiqian played dirty, he was really dirty. Huamin frowned slightly and was about to call Qin Chu. Just as he was about to call Huamian, someone grabbed him by the arm and dragged him to a quiet corner in the hallway. Sister Huamin, Ni Yang took off his mask. Why are you here? I just came from the company. What's the situation? Huamin asked anxiously. Indeed. I'm the only one left at the company. I don't know when Mo Shui started doing something, but everyone left. She didn't even let the newcomers go. President Qin was in a bad mood and just called for an emergency meeting. Huamin didn't say anything after hearing this. Sister Huamin, don't worry, I won't leave. As long as President Qin treats you well, I'll stay at GK, you're my sister, and Yang immediately expressed his loyalty upon seeing Huamin's bad mood. I know. Thank you for being by our side at a time like this. I'm not the kind of person who forgets about benefits. No matter how good the Huo Corporation's offer is, I won't go. Don't worry, this is only temporary. President Qin is so powerful, he'll definitely find a way to deal with it, and Yang comforted. I'm sure he'll take care of it. Huamin raised her head, full of confidence in Qin Chu. Huamin was no longer in the mood to eat, so she went back to her office in low spirits. Chen Jie and Yang met up on the rooftop of the hospital. Chief Hua must be in a bad mood, I'm so worried about her. Don't worry, my sister is very strong-willed. She's like a cockroach that won't die. Chen Jie burst out laughing. She looked very cute when she laughed, and Yang looked at her affectionately. Being a celebrity may seem like a glamorous job, but it's not for humans. We often stay up late, and most people are in poor health. The good thing is that I'm a GK, and my sister and President Qin have been taking good care of me. They don't give me much work, and my role is very important. I plan on working for a few more years, but I'll quit once I get married. Quit? But Chen Jie didn't understand. Because I'm tired, mentally tired. Chen Jie didn't say anything. When the time comes, I want to open a bookstore. I want to buy all the books I didn't get to read when I was young and read them slowly. I also want to live a peaceful life with the person I love every day. Upon hearing this, Chen Jie's face flushed slightly. Jie? And Yang suddenly called her name. Yeah. Chapter 1347. If one day I'm no longer a star, and all the glory is gone, will you still be by my side? And Yang asked seriously. He didn't dare to look into Chen Jie's eyes. He didn't know what kind of answer this girl would give him. Chen Jie burst out laughing. What are you laughing at? And Yang was confused by her laughter. I'm laughing at how smart you are. I didn't even agree to be with you, and you're asking me about the future. Aren't you a little too two-faced? Are you trying to trick me? And Yang coughed, feeling slightly awkward. It seemed like Huamin was right. This little assistant was too smart. But it didn't work. Seeing that Yang didn't respond, Chen Jie looked into the distance and continued, I'm a stubborn person. If I like someone, I'll be with you forever. So, no matter if you're a star or an ordinary person, as long as you're willing, I'll always be by your side. Upon hearing this, Yang's eyes lit up with ecstasy. He couldn't hide the joy on his face as he held onto Chen Jie's hand. Jie, you should go now. There are a lot of people in the hospital right now, and it's not safe if someone takes a picture of us. The company is in a crisis right now, and we can't burden Chief Hua and the others. Perhaps because she was shy, Chen Jie turned around and ran away as soon as she finished speaking. However, Yang was still very happy that he was able to win the heart of this kind girl. Imperial Star Headquarters, President Su, did you see the news? Should we do something? The Vice President of Imperial Star asked anxiously. What do you think we should do? Should we keep an eye on our own artists? We don't want the Huo Corporation to make a move on us. He won't. His target is Qin Chu. Su Yu was certain that Huasiqian's target was Qin Chu, so he wouldn't dare to do anything to him. If Su Yu made a move, Huasiqian wouldn't be able to handle it. What Star Emperor needed to do now was to stay calm and observe the situation. Su Yu's stance was clear. He was neutral and would not participate in the war between Huasiqian and Qin Chu. However, if someone dared to harm Huamin, it would be a different story. Some people said that Huamin was Qin Chu's bottom line. However, no one knew that Huamin was also Su Yu's bottom line. Huamin's mind was in a mess at Southside. After much consideration, he decided to call Mr. Qin. So, she made a video call. Qin Chu picked it up almost instantly as well. Hello, Mr. Qin, are you in a good mood today? Not bad. Qin Chu smiled. I saw the news. Are you okay? I'm fine. Thank you for your concern. Qin Chu joked. You're still in the mood to joke around? Looks like you're really fine. Have you eaten yet? I have. Don't worry about me, just focus on your work. Huamin lied, not wanting Qin Chu to worry. Okay, then I'll pick you up after work. Let's go back to the manor for dinner. Mom and Dad miss us. Okay, I'll wait for you. Huamin smiled. After hanging up, Qin Chu turned around, his gaze cold again. Let's continue with the meeting. He sat down, picked up a thick stack of documents, and started working again. After the sweet call with Mr. Qin, Huamin felt a lot more relaxed. After all, her husband was a god. Therefore, this crisis was nothing, and she didn't need to worry about it. Just as she was about to go out and find something to eat, she saw someone at the door. Dr. Hua? We meet again. Huamin didn't say anything. Instead, she looked at the man across from her with hostility. Chapter 1348. What are you doing here? Huamin wasn't happy to see Jiang Yi at a time like this. She really didn't like this arrogant superstar. Yang told her that he and Qin Chu had already discussed the terms and conditions of joining GK. However, for some reason he suddenly signed with Su Yu's Imperial Star. Huamin hated people who went back on their word the most. Dr. Hua, I want to talk to you. Sorry, I don't have anything to talk to you about. Huamin didn't want to talk to people like Jiang Yi. She felt like it was a waste of her time. When Huamin walked past Jiang Yi, suddenly he said meaningfully, I heard that GK is in trouble. All the artists left. Oh no, I made a mistake, and Yang is the only one left. Huamin stopped in her tracks and frowned slightly. She looked at Jiang Yi angrily. So, you're here to gloat and kick me when I'm down? No, I'm here to point you in the right direction. To be exact, I'm here to point your husband's company in the right direction. So, are you sure you don't want to talk to me? Jiang Ye's words were full of meaning, and the look in his eyes was complicated. Huamin could ignore him, but when she heard that it had something to do with GK, she began to waver. Come with me, this isn't the place to talk. After speaking, Jiang Yi put his hands in his pockets and walked towards the rooftop of the hospital. For some reason, Huamian followed him upstairs. She really wanted to help Qin Chu. If he really did have a way, perhaps he could solve GK's crisis. The wind on the rooftop was strong, especially in the middle of winter. Huamin's white coat looked very thin. Jiang Yi took off his leopard print coat and handed it to her. Here, put it on. You're freezing. No, thank you, Mr. Jiang. My time is precious. Just say what you want to say. Huamin rejected her outright, except for Qin Chu. She didn't wear other men's clothes because she hated skin-to-skin contact. This was also Huamin's biggest obsession with cleanliness as a doctor. Jiang Yi had no choice but to take his clothes back and put them on himself. He then took out a cigarette from his pocket and put it in his mouth. To tell you the truth, I can join GK. Didn't you sign with Imperial Star? Huamin was slightly surprised. I'm working with Imperial Star on a single project. I've already finished my part of the film, so I can sign with another company at any time. Not only can I sign with them, but I can also bring 5 A-listers, at least 6 B-listers, and countless C-listers. I can have as many as I want. Plus, there will be a ton of newbies. This way, GK's problem will be solved. What are your conditions? Huamin looked at Jiang Yi calmly. She would never believe that a free lunch would fall into her lap, nor would she believe that Jiang Yi would threaten her with a huge sum of money. Otherwise, he would have gone straight to Qin Chu. Why would he bother her? Hi, smart. Jiang Yi really liked Huamin's intelligence. Some men didn't like smart women because they didn't like smart, self-righteous women. However, Huamin's intelligence was always perfect, making people admire and respect her from the bottom of their hearts. So, what are your conditions, Mr. Jiang? Huamin continued to ask. Jiang Yi took out the unlit cigarette from his mouth, put it behind his ear, and smiled. Have sex with me. Before Huamin could respond, he added, just once will do. Jiang Ye's feelings for Huamin were very simple. Even Mo Shui could tell. Chapter 1349. Ever since that night at the KTV, ever since he didn't know about Huamin's identity, he had been interested in her. However, Jiang Ye's interest was different from Su Yu's. Su Yu liked her from the bottom of his heart. Jiang Yi wanted to conquer her. He had seen this woman's arrogance countless times. So, he really wanted to see what this cold and arrogant woman would look like when he pressed her under his body. It was a desire that only men had to conquer. So, to Jiang Yi, sleeping with Huamin was his biggest wish. He wasn't naive enough to ask Huamin to divorce him. They were already so old and it wasn't like they were in a relationship. There was no need to be so serious. After he said this, Huamin laughed. When he saw Huamin laugh, he thought that she agreed. His mood instantly improved. Do you think you can sing? Just once is enough? You've listened to too many of Yang Zhongwei's songs, haven't you? Jiang Yi, do you think something like this can stump my husband? You're even threatening me? You're so childish. Have you stopped drinking? Jiang Yi, sleep with you? If I lit a fire behind you with a lighter, would you be able to go up into the sky? Do you really think you're a rocket? Jiang Yi, since you're so brainless and said such stupid things, I won't stoop to your level, but I have a suggestion for you next time. Don't stop when you leave the house. After speaking, Huamin turned around and left. It was a complete waste of her precious time, listening to him bullshit. Did he really think that she was a little white rabbit, a Mary Sue, who would cry and beg for help or sacrifice herself? She wasn't that dumb. She knew how to weigh the pros and cons of a situation. It had been a long time since she scolded someone like this. Huamin felt especially good, as if all the bad luck she had been holding in for the day was gone. After being scolded, Jiang Yi didn't get angry. Instead, he laughed. It turned out that this woman was such a weirdo when it came to scolding people. No wonder Su Yu fell in love with her. Interesting, what an interesting woman. Jiang Yi stood on the rooftop and laughed to himself. When they got off work, Qin Chu came to pick Huamin up. The two drove back to the Qin manor. Huamin didn't ask about the company, so she trusted that Qin Chu would take care of it. Inside the Qin manor, when the two elders of the Qin family saw that their son and daughter-in-law had returned, they were especially enthusiastic. Mrs. Qin handed a cup of rose tea to Huamian. It's cold outside, isn't it? Have some flower tea. Thank you, Ma. Huamian sat next to Mrs. Qin and chatted casually. Qin Chu, Qin Chu's, Est, Chu, I know everything about the company. Dad, it's not a big deal. Don't worry, I can take care of it. I believe in your abilities. I just think it's too tiring for you. I think it's better to sell GK Entertainment. We can focus on real estate and jewelry. We don't need that little bit of money. The older generation was old-fashioned. Qin Chu's father didn't think that running an entertainment company was the right way to go, so he wanted to use this opportunity to persuade his son to give up. I understand what you're thinking, but it's not what you think. Entertainment is profitable, and we can diversify. Not only can we invest in movies and TV series, but we can also promote more celebrities. We can also expand our endorsements and perform in many commercial projects. Anyways, I'm quite interested. Seeing that Qin Chu was insistent, Qin Chu's father didn't say anything else. At dinner, the housekeeper made a lot of delicious dishes. The four of them sat around the table and ate. Lady Qin kept putting food into Huamin's bowl. More. You're preparing for pregnancy, you need to eat better. I'll do it myself, Mom. Huamin was a little embarrassed and lowered his head. I hope you guys have your own children soon. Your mom and I aren't young anymore. I don't know if we'll have the chance to see our grandchildren grow up. I've been dreaming about it. Qin Chu's father drank a few more glasses of white wine and spoke his mind. Dad. Qin Chu immediately reminded him. He didn't want Huamin to feel burdened. Chapter 1350. I'm sorry. I'll work hard. Huamin felt a little guilty. Although she knew that giving birth wasn't because of her body, she still felt burdened. After all, she hadn't contributed much since she came to this family. Qin Chu, on the other hand, had never mistreated her. He fed her well, gave her a good place to live, and never mistreated her in the slightest. What nonsense are you talking about? We're not senile. We know that this isn't your fault. We just feel that fate hasn't arrived yet. I hope that while our bodies are still strong, we can help you take care of your grandchildren, or granddaughters. Anything is fine. Qin Chu's father comforted Huamin. It was already 8 p.m. by the time they left after dinner. On the way, Qin Chu tilted his head and said to Huamin, "Don't take my dad's words to heart. He likes to nag when he's drunk." "I won't. I understand how he feels. You promised him that you'd work hard, so when we get back, don't say that. You're so annoying." Huamin knew that Mr. Qin was going to turn yellow again, so he hit him in advance. "What I meant was that when we get back, we need to educate ourselves on how to be good parents to a newborn." Huamin, "So, honey, why did you hit me so angrily?" Qin Chu laughed. "How do you have the time to talk to me? Look at how difficult your company is right now." "It's nothing. It's not worth mentioning." Qin Chu spent the entire day at the company researching the PR crisis. He didn't find it particularly troublesome. There was another reason why Qin Chu didn't listen to his father and give up on the entertainment business. He started GK Entertainment because he wanted to compete with Suyu. If he sold it now, wouldn't he be admitting defeat? He couldn't admit defeat to anyone, whether it was Suyu or Huasiqian. He had to win because only by becoming the strongest he could protect his wife better. He always knew how outstanding Huamin was, and he always knew how many people wanted her. He couldn't tell her, but he had to be careful of anyone or anything that could ruin their relationship. This was the pressure of being a man. Just like how he once joked with Huamian that the women who were after him were easy to deal with, Huamian thought. And the men who have their eyes on you are all hardcore fans, so they are especially hard to deal with. Although it was a joke, it was the truth. The next morning, GK released a statement that GK Entertainment would continue to operate and wouldn't be affected by anyone's departure. At the same time, GK's Elite's Huamin, Thes's contract. Also, Huamin's GK's and Stars's editions, Hua and Sandhua, S's Huamian, S's of Hua of Tel Eswa was immediately Hua. No one seemed to be paying attention to Imo Shue's escape. At a press conference at GK headquarters, Qin Chu attended and accepted the media's interview. President Qin, more than 200,000 people have signed up for the star of GK. Did you expect it to be this popular? As expected, Mr. Qin was still as arrogant as ever. It made the young reporter feel awkward. President Qin, will GK fully ban the artists who betrayed you in the past? Chapter 1351. No, I thank them for everything they've done for GK, and I wish them the best of luck in the future. These were Qin Chu's heartfelt words. He didn't need to ban those artists, he was generous enough to do things. After all, he wasn't on the same level as those artists. President Qin, a new year has begun. Do you have any wishes this year? Do you plan on working on bigger projects? Qin Chu lowered his head and was silent for a few seconds. Then, he replied in all seriousness, I hope I won't be so busy in the new year. I'll take some time off to go to California with my wife. Why go to California? Is there a special reason? The reporter asked. Because we both love the song, Hotel California. I promised her that I'd take her to see the sunrise and sunset in California. Wow. President Qin, you love your wife so much. Are you planning on having a baby this year? It all depends on my wife's mood, Qin Chu replied cleverly. Qin Chu's interview tortured a bunch of single people. It also cleverly resolved the crisis of an artist leaving. When Huamin saw the video on his phone at Southside, he felt his heart melt. He even remembered what happened at Hotel California. Huamin thought he only said it casually. Girl, did you see the live stream? Your husband is so handsome. Why can't he be my man? In the WeChat group, Zhu Lingling exclaimed. What would you do if I took a screenshot of what you said and sent it to Captain Gao? Huamin laughed. Fuck, don't you dare, I'll skin you alive. I'm afraid Captain Gao will skin you alive before you skin me alive. Huamin said proudly. There's a type of husband called Huamin's husband. Jiang Xiaowei sent this message. Haha, Dr. Jiang, you're so funny. Zhu Lingling laughed hysterically. Enough, you two, that's enough teasing. Huamin continued to laugh. We haven't seen each other for a while. I miss you guys so much. Let's meet up sometime, Xiaowei suggested. Wait for me to fly back. I'll be there in the morning the day after tomorrow. You two can decide on the time. Huamin, how about the night after tomorrow after I get off work? Jiang Xiaowei, okay. Zhu Lingling, it's settled then. See you later. After chatting with the two women, Huamin sent a big hug to Qin Chu. Huamin, honey, you're so handsome today. Qin Chu, when am I not handsome? Huamin, can you not be so proud? Qin Chu, is this your first day meeting me? How could he ask such a stupid question? Huamin, ha hubby, that was a beautiful counterattack. Love you. Qin Chu, love doesn't come with words. Huamin, facepalm, here we go again. Qin Chu, love is felt with your heart. Honey, why are you so shy? Did I say something wrong? Huamin, idiot, are you messing with me again? Qin Chu, I probably have to work overtime today. If you get off work early, you can come to the company. Huamin, I want to check if any of the tens of thousands of girls in the audition are interested in you. Qin Chu, okay, you're welcome to check on me. Huamin, if I find out, you'll be kneeling on a durian. Qin Chu, if you can't find out, I'll have to tie you up with a belt again tonight. Huamin's face turned red at the mention of the belt. He was so shy. Inside the CEO's office at Huamin's headquarters, Shuo was half lying on the sofa in a low-cut dress as she looked at Huasiqian with a smile. Oh, it seems like someone didn't do anything. Instead, he made them popular. Huasiqian was calmly writing with a brush in his hand. These are just appetizers, what's the rush? So, you have something else up your sleeve? Mo Shui sat up and asked tentatively. Chapter 1352. Huasiqian didn't respond. Instead, he continued to write. After he finished writing the last word, he casually tossed the brush aside. Mo Shui stood up and walked over to his right. She looked at the words he had written. Life and death are determined by fate. Riches and honor are determined by heaven. The situation is so big now, it's even at the level of life and death. What? Do you really want to fight to the death with Qin Chu? Is it worth it? Mo Shui chuckled. Huasiqian turned his head, his eyes dark. You know that I don't like smart women. What if Huamin is smarter than me? Mo Shui retorted. It's not the same, she's really smart. You think you're smart? Huasiqian turned around in disdain, picked up the calligraphy he had written, and quietly admired it. Mo Shui was angry, but she didn't dare to say anything after all. In Huasiqian's eyes, no one was better than Huamin, no matter how good she was. She originally thought that she wouldn't miss him after she got together with Jiang Yi, but for some reason she still wanted to see him like a madwoman. Therefore, she disregarded her dignity and threw herself into his arms. Huasiqian didn't even say anything, but she did everything for him. She broke her contract and jumped ship, taking away a bunch of GK Entertainment's artists with her. Everyone in the industry called her a traitor. A traitor who sold out her master for glory. After Qin Chu responded to this incident, he showed GK's magnanimity and Mo Shui's despicableness. That night, she lost 800,000 fans on Weibo, something that had never happened before. Many fans turned to passers-by and even haters. She didn't respond to any of the insults she received, all because of this man named Huasiqian. However, Mo Shui also knew that Huasiqian didn't love her. He never did. He didn't even love her body. When he slept with her, he treated her like an inflatable doll. After he vented, he heartlessly left. She thought that she was the most pitiful one, but later, she gradually realized that Song Yishe and Wang Shasha were even more pitiful than her. At least he wasn't afraid of Huasiqian, but they were indeed afraid of him. In short, in Huasiqian's world, all women were tragedies. Only Huamin was always the apple of his eye, high and mighty. Emo Shui hated Huamin to the core. She didn't know how such a woman could exist in this world. Qin Chu, Su Yu, and Huasiqian were all people who stood at the pinnacle of the world. Any one of the three of them was outstanding. She didn't know why God favored Huamin. She, Huamin, had no talent, no virtue, and no looks. What right did she have? Was it because she had a heart that could bewitch men? Emo Shui didn't dare to say anything in front of Huasiqian. After what happened before, she didn't dare to touch Huasiqian's bottom line again. She didn't ask for much, she just wanted to be by his side quietly. She was actually more curious about whether Huasiqian had a way to defeat a king like Qin Chu. 2 days later, GK Entertainment's Jinling City and Imperial Stars, If You Never Loved Me, were released on the same day. The truth was, this wasn't decided by the two companies. The movie theaters wanted to promote the release of the two movies at the same time, so the conflict intensified. After the two movies were released, there was a lot of reaction. There were both positive and negative comments, and some fans even started a war on a certain movie review website. Wow, did you guys see Jinling City? It was so good, I cried, my tears came out like a waterfall. Trash. People who use anti-Japanese themes to make movies are all trying to make money off the country. 8 years of anti-Japanese war was a pain in the hearts of our people. GK's president is shameless enough to stoop so low just to make money. I think If You Never Loved Me is better. Jian Tong's acting is great. I'm a fan now. You bunch of idiots. If you don't know anything, then don't say it. Love in that kind of setting is even more heart-wrenching. In Jinling, there is a great portrayal of personal love and great love for one's country. Jinling is also Nanjing. Although it recalls an unpleasant history, it also shows us the spirit of the older generation of singers who dedicated themselves to their country. If it wasn't for their sacrifice, would there still be a harmonious society today? It would have become a fucking Japanese colony long ago. I think this movie tells us not to forget national shame. You must be a paid commenter. How much did GK's President Qin pay you? 50 cents per comment? Why are you praising him so much? The movie was meant to be entertaining, but the conflict escalated to personal attacks. Chapter 1353. Yang and Emo Shui starred in Jinling City. Emo Shui hadn't changed jobs yet. The story was about the love between a young secret agent of the Communist Party and the daughter of a Japanese military officer. Yang played the young secret agent, and Emo Shui played the Japanese socialite, Ishii Haruko. The two fell in love with each other in a time of war, but they had to break up because of their country's grudge. In the end, Haruko betrayed her country for her lover and saved many Chinese lives, but was shot to death. Although it was a tragedy, the plot was intense and exciting, the scenes were shocking, and the sad ending made many viewers cry. Relying on its reputation, it made a comeback at the box office. In the beginning, it only made tens of millions, but in the end, it made more than 100 million every day. In the end, it made 2 billion yuan at the box office and became the biggest dark horse of the year. The main actors, Yang and Emo Shui, also became popular stars and became popular again. On the other hand, If You Never Loved Me was produced by Imperial Star and starred the top actress, Jian Tong. Jian Tong was a very likable celebrity with a good reputation in the industry and a huge fan base. The male lead was Chen Wenlei, a newcomer that Imperial Star had groomed. The story was about a couple who fell in love in college. On the night before their wedding, the girl died in a car accident and donated her heart. In the end, in order to protect the heart of the woman he loved, the man secretly approached the girl who received the new heart. The two fell in love and finally got together. Although the story was full of twists and turns, the ending was good and positive. Jian Tong was a very professional actress and her acting skills were very good. She played the girl who received the new heart very well. She won a lot of praise. In the end, If You Never Loved Me made 2 billion yuan at the box office. In fact, 2 billion yuan was a very good result. There weren't many movies that made more than 1 billion yuan at the box office. Unfortunately, it was released at the same time as GK. When the two companies were compared, it was obvious who was better. Jinling City made 800 million yuan more than If You Never Loved Me. Therefore, the fans of both companies started a war. It started on a certain movie review website. Then, it moved to the Weibo accounts of the main actors, and the war became more and more intense. That night, one of Jian Tong's fans posted a screenshot of the incident on Weibo. In the picture, she had bought the ticket for If I Had Never Loved You, but in the end, she got the ticket for Jinling City. What did this prove? It was Jinling City that stole the box office of What If? Therefore, on Weibo, fans were cursing GK Entertainment for being shameless, despicable, and despicable for stealing box office sales. She even implicated GK's president, Qin Chu. This incident attracted the attention of many media outlets. Newspapers and news outlets began to report on this matter one after another. There were even some trolls who went to Huamin's Weibo to scold him. Your husband is shameless. He operates under the table. He can't beat others, so he steals the box office. Despicable and shameless. Dr. Hua, have you asked your husband? What the hell is going on? I don't believe in stealing the box office. Jinling City is a good place to watch. Isn't it normal for the box office to be high? What's the point of being jealous of others when you can't beat them? Mian, I believe in you and your husband. You wouldn't do something like this. Why don't you ask President Qin to come out and explain? Dr. Hua, have you seen Jinling City? I heard that Ni Yang is your brother, is that true? You're so good at acting. After lunch at Southside, Huamin opened Weibo and scrolled through it. He almost went crazy. There were tons of comments and tons of people who tagged him. It was a mess. What was going on? Why did Weibo suddenly explode? After understanding the situation, Huamin found out that GK and Imperial Star were in a war of words over box office sales. Chapter 1354. Huamin replied to a fan who questioned her on Weibo, my husband wouldn't do something like that. I believe there's a misunderstanding here. Don't get too worked up and curse at each other. Wise men don't believe in rumors. From Huamin's point of view, the people in charge of the two companies didn't do anything wrong, but the fans started to curse at them. Needless to say, Qin Chu would never do something like stealing the box office. She trusted her husband 100%? However, the fan who took the screenshot swore that Jinling City stole the box office. Was this a coincidence or intentional? Or did something happen at the movie theater? Huamin thought for a moment but didn't call Qin Chu. She felt that as his wife and not an employee of GK, if she paid too much attention to the company's affairs, people would gossip and say that the harem was interfering in politics. If that happened, Mr. Qin would be in a difficult position. After some thought, Huamin sent Ni Yang a WeChat message. Kid, what's going on? Sis, don't talk about it, my Weibo has fallen as well. I really have to hand it to these trolls. I'm the lead actress, but I can't believe they're attacking me. 2 billion yuan only means that the movie looks good, but they're accusing me of stealing the box office. What a deep pool. Okay, don't think too much about it. Go home and rest early. Don't accept any media interviews at this sensitive time, Huamin reminded. I know, sis, talk to you later. GK's Office of the President, President Qin, do you think we should release a statement to explain this? Assistant Yang asked anxiously. No, the more we explain, the worse it will get. Let them say what they want, we won't respond. Qin Chu thought that these things were boring. There was no way the theater would directly offend Su Yu and help them steal the box office. Jian Tong's fans probably saw that their idol's box office wasn't doing well, so they purposely created a war of words. Qin Chu didn't plan on doing anything about it, he thought it would blow over in a few days. However, to his surprise, the situation became more and more intense. Jian Tong's fans began to cause trouble with banners and surrounded GK's entrance. Ni Yang's car was also sprayed with flowers and eggs. The audition for GK's trip was in full swing, but it was stopped because of this. GK's security guards had been dispatched many times, but there were too many fans, so they couldn't do anything about it. Headquarters of Imperial Star, President Su, what should we do now? And asked the boss calmly. Go get Jian Tong for me. Su Yu's face darkened. At the movie premiere, he had already said that he didn't mind who he sat with. The box office was judged by the audience. Even if he lost, he would accept it wholeheartedly. Su Yu was not that petty. Su Yu even secretly wore a mask to watch the midnight show in Jinling City. It was indeed very interesting. There was nothing wrong with him losing. He didn't think that Qin Chu had done anything. He didn't expect that Jian Tong's fans would take the lead and cause such a huge commotion. He didn't want things to turn out this way either. 5 minutes later, Jian Tong walked in wearing a nude-color dress. She had long curly hair and exquisite makeup, making her look like a princess. President Su, you were looking for me? Jian Tong had always respected Su Yu. One could say that she was smart, but she was basically the type of girl who didn't care about anything. When you spoiled me, I wasn't arrogant. When you ignored me, I wasn't pessimistic. That was why Jian Tong was able to stand tall at Imperial Star all these years. She easily defeated Zhao Qingya, Annie Liang, Cotton Candy, and other popular actresses, and became the true big sister. What's wrong with your fans? Did you ask them to do this? Su Yu frowned slightly and looked up at Jian Tong. President Su, I didn't. If you're looking for me because of this, then I need to explain myself. Speak. Su Yu lowered his head and sipped his Longjing tea. Chapter 1355. I saw that fan's Weibo, and she's verified by Weibo. She's the president of my global fan club, so everyone thinks she's trustworthy. But I want to say that she didn't set up that Weibo post herself, because she's always in contact with me. She would have communicated with me before doing something like this, but it's strange. After the incident, I've messaged her a few times, but she didn't reply. I think something went wrong, and someone probably used her Weibo post to smear GK's reputation. What about the fans who caused trouble at GK? Are they not your fans? No, they are, but they're just cannon fodder. I think they were instigated by someone. So, I think this whole thing is a conspiracy. From beginning to end, they used the excuse of avenging me, but their real goal was to smear GK's reputation. So, I think I'm the scapegoat this time. Jian Tong spoke with sincerity, and so did the look in her eyes. Su Yu had known Jian Tong for a long time, and he didn't believe that she would lie. After 5 seconds of silence, President Su, should I post a statement on Weibo right now? To prove that I have nothing to do with those crazy fans' actions? No, it'll only make people think you're the culprit, and it'll hurt the hearts of the real fans. What should we do now? Jian Tong looked at Su Yu and asked. Let's wait and see. Su Yu thought that if someone planned this on purpose, then they would be exposed. So he decided to wait and see what other tricks they had up their sleeves. 5:50 p.m. that day, Qin Chu got off work, and as soon as he walked out of GK's headquarters, he was surrounded by people. President Qin, do you have anything to say about the rumor that GK stole the box office? President Qin, I heard that Jinling City's 2 billion yuan was fake, is that true? President Qin, do you think the screenshot posted by that fan on Weibo is real? President Qin, the box office is so high this time, will Mo Shui still get a cut after she leaves? After all, she's the female lead. President Qin, can you tell me where the idea for Jinling came from? What made you decide to make a movie about the anti-Japanese war? And it's even better than teen idol movies? President Qin, I heard that you don't have a good relationship with President Su of Imperial Star. Is it because you're his competitor? President Qin, can you accept our exclusive interview? We want to make an exclusive magazine for Jinling City. I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm off work now. Let's talk about my work tomorrow. Qin Chu looked down at his watch and replied coldly. Qin Chu had been tired all day, and he really didn't want to respond to these boring questions at the door. Therefore, he walked straight ahead, intending to get on the Maybach. At this moment, a crazy female fan rushed over with an egg in her hand. Profiteer, how dare you steal the box office? I'll beat you to death. The female fans shouted and threw eggs at him. Qin Chu reflexively raised his hand to block it, only to hear the sound of a slap. He was a little stunned because the egg did not hit him. He put down his hand and saw a woman in a white down jacket standing in front of him, catching the egg with her bare hands. The egg broke into pieces in Huamin's hand, and the eggshell and yolk were still stuck to her hand. Wow, look, it's Mrs. Qin. The reporters became even more excited and swarmed up to the couple, completely surrounding them. Huamin raised her right hand, which still had the egg stuck to it, and slowly walked towards the fan who threw the egg at him, and she smiled. This smile made the female fan's hair stand on end. She felt like something was about to happen. Chapter 1356. Sure enough, Huamin wiped the sticky egg on the female fan's face with his hand. Everyone was dumbfounded. Then, Huamin took out a wet wipe from his pocket and wiped his sticky right hand. He looked at the female fan and said, "Qin Chu is my husband. Other than me, no one can bully him." Before anyone could react, she walked back and stood beside Qin Chu. She intimately held onto his arm and looked around at all the reporters. She slowly said, "I know everyone wants to ask my husband about the scandal of Jinling City stealing the box office. Let me clarify for him. You guys seem to have underestimated GK. GK is involved in many industries. Every year, we make tens of billions of yuan in real estate and jewelry. GK Entertainment is a new and immature industry, so we don't rely on it to make a lot of money. Therefore, we wouldn't do something as low as stealing the box office." Then why did Jinling City earn 800 million yuan more than If I Never Loved You when it was released at the same time? That's ridiculous, a tabloid reporter said on purpose. Huamian smiled and continued, "You guys seem to have forgotten something. The main actors of Jinling City, Ni Yang and Mo Shui, are both A-list celebrities in China. Their appeal and influence can't be ignored. Jinling City aside, even if they were to star in any movie, as long as the quality of the movie is good, it would still be a hit. It's like saying that if you go and buy apples and oranges, you can't say which one isn't tasty, it's just a matter of personal taste. My husband and I have watched If I Never Loved You. It's also a great movie. We've always been in a healthy competition with Imperial Star. I hope you so-called fans can be a little more rational. Don't try to slander your idols. Also, I'm warning you one last time, don't bully my husband. Otherwise, I won't forgive you." Then, Huamin grabbed Qin Chu's hand and got into the Maybach. Everyone didn't realize what was going on until the car left. They all started taking pictures of Qin Chu's car. In front of their televisions, many people had seen the live broadcast. Huamin's mighty and domineering speech turned many people into his fans. There weren't many women who were so protective of their husbands in public. Most women would either sulk, act coquettishly, or complain. On the other hand, Huamin's domineering face and threatening tone made her look like a tough woman. Everyone was exhilarated. When the two elders of the Qin family saw the television, they heaved a sigh of relief for their son. Qin Chu's father exclaimed, "Mian is such a brave girl. Chu didn't misjudge her." Lady Qin said guiltily, "Back then, I was too narrow-minded and prejudiced against her. Otherwise, if I had successfully left the country back then, my grandson might have grown up by now. It's a good thing that Mian doesn't care about the past. She's doing this because she's good to Chu. She loves the house and its crow. We, the older generation, shouldn't make things too difficult for the younger generation." Lady Qin nodded. It won't happen again. Mian is a good girl. I was blind to believe Song Yisher's words in the past, and my misunderstanding of her became deeper and deeper. Alright, did you ask Mayor Song? What's going on with the land acquisition? I did. Old Song's answer was very bureaucratic. He said it was the province's decision and had nothing to do with him. Bullshit. If it has nothing to do with him, who does it have anything to do with? Last time when we were drinking at our house, he swore that the land acquisition would be ours. Now he's changed his mind. What kind of mayor is he doing? Lady Qin was a little angry. Forget it. It's normal to give it to the Huasiqian. Huasiqian is his daughter's husband now. Their family, he can't be biased, right? Inside Su Yu's private mansion, He and Tang Chuan swam a few laps in the pool before going ashore. The maid handed over a towel, and Su Yu put it on and sat down on the bench to rest. Tang Chuan poked his head out of the pool and chuckled. Did you watch the video today? I did. Su Yu sipped his juice nonchalantly. Did it hurt your heart? Tang Chuan teased. Su Yu fell silent. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.